Good afternoon. I'm calling the Community Development Recommending Board meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2015. Welcome, everybody. Devinder Pappas, Chair. Items listed on the agenda may be taken out of the order presented. Two or more agenda items for consideration may be combined, and any item on the agenda may be removed or related discussion may be delayed at any time. Backup material for this agenda may be obtained from Luann D. Holmes, Acting City Clerk, at the City Clerk's office at 45 South Main Street, second floor, or the city's webpage at www.lasvegasnevada.gov. Staff, are we in compliance with the open meeting law?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, roll call.
Chair Pappas.
Present.
Co-Chair McGrath. Not yet. Member Jennison.
Here.
Member Jimenez. Here. Pardon. Member Miller.
Here.
Member McCoy.
Here.
Member Yuan.
Here.
Member Astley.
Here.
Member Taylor.
Here.
And Member Jordan.
On the way.
On the way. Member Aker excused. And Member
Hartley.
Powell and Hartley excused. And I think we have a quorum.
Okay, public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters on the agenda for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion, as well as the amount of time remaining single speakers allowed may be limited. Okay, moving right along. Number 4. Discussion for possible action. Before we get to number 4, does anybody have any disclosures regarding any potential conflicts of interest? Member Miller.
Carmen Shawn Miller, I wanted to state that an agency that presented that I was not present at, not to the perception of a conflict of interest. I believe it was, my brain just went blank. I know this agency. Help me out, it was just on the screen. I did fundraising for them 2 years ago, Positively Kids.
So you'd be abstaining?
So I will be abstaining from that vote, yes.
Thank you.
Member Janison, I work for United Way and have disclosed in prior meetings that we fund several of the agencies, but I won't be abstaining from those votes. I will be abstaining from Catholic Charities as I serve on their board of directors.
Thank you. Any other disclosures? Okay, item number 4 on the agenda, we're moving right into it.
Have a technical.
Oh, I'm sorry, staff.
Sorry, Sean Bolzer, staff. Could we time out for just a minute while I find my Hopway ESG scoring sheets?
Well, we can go over a little bit of business protocol while she does that. Devinder Pal. Again, we have discussed, we need to make sure before we speak that we state our names. We speak loudly for the recording. When it comes time to vote, please state your name, state your vote verbally, and raise your hand and keep your hand up until staff has acknowledged that they've been able to do the head count. Great. Members, do you have any questions about the process? We've kind of gone over it a little bit.
So we can just make a motion to fund a certain agency, and then if it's seconded, then we vote?
Well, what we'll do first is we open discussion.
Okay.
So somebody will start off the discussion by saying something along the lines of, I suggest we fund ABC Bakery in the amount of $10,000. Just right doesn't exist for this purpose. And then somebody else can say, well, I suggest we fund this one, and then we can play with the numbers, and until we've come to a final, and there's no more discussion, that's when we start making motions. Up until that point, we're strictly discussing, and it's all open for discussion. We're all encouraged.
That will motion.
If you have a question, if you have an opinion, we're all encouraged to take our turn and take that opportunity to make sure that you're heard and understood. And the votes don't have to be unanimous. If you don't agree with one that we're presenting, when the time comes to vote, you can just say, no. You vote no, and assuming you still have a majority, you'll carry forward. Member Jensen.
Just clarification then, so if you are taking each individual, and so there will be a separate vote on each agency.
Yes, what we'll do, like I said, is first we'll discuss all of the applications. We'll come to a slate that we hopefully all agree on. If not, we can at least all live with. Then somebody will make a motion on each individual one, and we will take a vote on each individual application, and then there will be a motion and a vote to present that slate to the council.
Thank you.
Well, per Robert's Rules of Order, anybody can make a motion, correct?
That's correct. So,
Did they break the spreadsheet down to where Hopper was separate on that sheet? I don't think it is separate on that sheet. Is that at the bottom? Or she got it?
Yeah,
She's
she's
got
had
two separate spreadsheets. I think it's on the other one. Yeah, I think it is. What was the name of that one? Staff scoring sheet, is that what it said?
I don't know what happened to my spreadsheet.
Which one are you
They
talking
just
about?
poofed.
What she's looking at right
Yeah.
now? It's called agency priorities, is what I.
That's what I have open, but it
You won't have this
doesn't,
one. It happens.
doesn't have it broken down.
No, you guys won't have this one.
Well, this is the C.
Yeah, no, that's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
bad.
Special needs. I can see. Pop up.
I know it's in here. So I have to look at the specific ones. Development fund. I guess not, she doesn't have it in this one.
I see it. You trying to find the Hopwell one?
I had the same spreadsheet that I have for CDBG open with all the, by scores and everything else, and it's just not where I put it, and so I'm not very happy right now.
Oh, I see, yeah, that one's just the, that's just for the.
This sheet, I went all the way down, it had CDBG at the top. And then it had Hopla underneath it, and it had ESG underneath it, so I had it all in one sheet. And I don't know what on earth I did to it. All right.
Is that your computer from upstairs?
It's on my, yes, it's my profile, yes.
Well, what I'm wondering though, because you might be able to go to recent documents. If you go to File Open and go to Recent Documents, it might show up there. Yeah, see down right below where your screen right now on the left, this says Recent.
It's only gonna show what I opened up down here.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it maybe it's the last one on the bottom?
That's the one we're working on right now, so she's got it right now.
All right, give me 1 second so I get their scores. So. Makes me look like an idiot. Oh, no, you don't. Let me go upstairs.
You want to go on recess?
Just for a minute, please.
All right.
I'm
we're
so
gonna-
sorry.
we will recess.
So sorry. Let me just run up and see if it's,
Oh, wait a minute, what the?
Oh, maybe because there's only 5. There's not a lot. That's maybe why she did that. It's
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah, there was one that I didn't, I know there's only one.
That's why.
I said not to fund.
Because there's so much, there's a percentage on each category, so.
Yes.
Wait, no, that's ESG. There it is. Applications. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So who was it that I uploaded? That was the one. How long have you been on this board?
About 5 years,
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
Tough decisions, huh?
Yeah, it is, and
Not easy.
and sometimes it's emotional.
Yeah.
People are really adamant about certain things. So it made it a lot easier when the council came down and gave us percentages.
Hey,
Hey, there he is.
you made great time.
Hi, Tom.
How's everyone?
We're good, thanks.
We're in recess.
Sean spreadsheet.
Interesting. So, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? We're going to do talk about NHG then.
Do the easy stuff first.
Yeah. This will be the time one.
Yeah.
I just made a list of what my decisions were, so I don't have to look at the computer. I could just look at this paper and see.
So when we come back in, we'll tell them you're here, you need to disclose.
How many of us are here today? One, two.
Look on your face. You got like frozen with this look.
I think I'm here today. That's not like, that's why I checked you out.
See, like,
Being on
did you see the veterans thing where she wrote about not funding, do not recommend funding on United States veterans?
Yeah, that's the one that he withdrew.
No, he withdrew,
Oh, that was Village.
yeah.
That was Veterans.
Yeah, Shea, or
There
Share.
was the, it
United
was the
States
hen
Veterans
thingy, whatever.
Yeah, that's not on my list, I didn't fund that.
Your mom on the phone.
They asked for like 93,000, I think I recommend 46.
I thought it was the that hen thing.
Because they were actually the only other veterans organization, I think, that came before us, right?
I thought it was the hen dog catcher thingy.
So I'm getting ready to take my first vacation. God knows how long. Well, it's not really a vacation. Brett is getting his paramedic license back.
remember
So
that
we're
one.
driving to Texas so he can take a skills test to get for his licensing. So we're going to leave Thursday night. Hey, there he is.
There he is.
There you go. We're going to leave Thursday night.
And Chauncey.
Friday, we're going to be in Santa Fe, and we're going to spend the morning and have lunch with my mom. Then we're going to go on to Texas, so that he can do his testing. Then, we're going to spend one night in Texas. Then we're going to drive back to New Mexico overnight, spend the next day with my sister, and then drive back here. So I'm going to get 1 night's sleep, 3.5 days. And he already said his Monday off, and nobody's like, oh, I'm not going to take Monday off. We'll come back and we'll go to work. And I'm like,
How are you? Okay, how are you doing?
but we're seeing my family going and coming, so it's like I don't feel like I'm. It's going to be a trip. It's going to be quite a trip. If you know anybody who would like a Chihuahua mixed puppy, let me know. My Chihuahua my boyfriend's Chihuahua is hugely pregnant.
I don't want nothing in my house pregnant.
She's this tall. No, we're looking for babies. We're looking for babies, not for her. No, she's this tall.
For the record.
Rodney, she's this tall, she's this big around.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I swear to God, she's this tall. Roxanne, you can look up, she's this tall. She's that big around. I've got pictures.
That baby is low to the ground.
She walks, oh, she almost dragging, and she walks, and when she walks, she... I just feel so bad for her. So I pick her up and I'll carry her vertically against me. Because I gotta figure that much like pregnant women, right? It's gotta be, I mean, all that weight hanging down like that, so it's gotta be more comfortable for once in a while to be able to sit up and just not have that weight on pulling down at her. So I'll pick her up and I'll carry her around. And she just lays against my chest like this.
I'm getting into personal business. The daddy is the Chihuahua. Believe Lord, don't make them
Her last one. Now this is not my dog. I believe in fixing your animals. I believe it. And I told him, I said, I don't care. I said, I'm going to take the money out of your account. When this is done, all of your animals are getting fixed. That's it. I told him, I'm taking it. I don't care. The last one, the father was a pit bull.
Oh, Lord, that little baby
So-
cared about the baby.
So she had so she only had one the last time, and he said Shia pit. That's what they call them, Shia pits.
Wait.
I wasn't there to see it, and I'm so glad I wasn't there to see it because I don't know how that worked. I could not have been comfortable.
The visual's not even good.
No.
Yeah, the visuals.
It's like,
I know.
really?
He's this big. She's this big.
That's just wrong.
That is wrong on so many levels.
But here's what's even wronger was when she went into heat the last time. I could not keep her in the house. She found, I don't know how, I swear sometimes she went through the walls to get out. I don't know how she got out. Now here outside, I'm like, wait a minute. Let's go outside, and I'd catch her, and I'd bring her back in, and then she'd be outside again. I'm like,
I just get on.
Yes, that person is very blonde. She's a hussy.
You said very blonde?
Very blonde today. I was there and didn't recognize what I needed.
oh, okay, that's all right, we're good. So if anybody would like a Chihuahua mixed puppy, they'll be ready in about 6 weeks.
Me and sister be fighting because I've been like, look. Where you supposed to be?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't need it. Because you're not going to, you guys aren't going to work off of it.
Lord Jesus. I'd be like, please, Lord, don't let me leave, Lord Jesus. I don't have to say something.
I sincerely apologize.
So Sean, while you're pulling out, I'm going to close back to order so we can read, so we can acknowledge.
Don't
the
get
two-
too wrapped
go
up in
down-
the
down.
axle
Is that okay? You guys ready? All right, we are calling the meeting back to order. We'd like to acknowledge that Vice Chair, Co-Chair Tom McGrath has joined us, and alternate Co-Chair Rodney McCoy has joined us. Rodney I was looking at your name tag. I did it again. Oh,
4 years, big folks, 4 years.
I did the name tag.
So if I'm shocked after my husband in my house, I don't say about it.
Roxanne did that on purpose.
She got me right. Okay. Hey, just call me Rodney Jennison. At least I know Kevin. I mean, I haven't met her husband yet. I drove her.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's it.
Rodney Jordan has joined us. She just started cracking up.
Yeah, no, she did.
I'm happy to. You gotta do it right.
Okay. So to our new board members, do either of you have any disclosures to announce? Mr. Jordan, Mr. McGrath?
I don't. Thank you.
All right, staff, are we? No? For the record, I am a natural blonde.
So am I. All right, we get it done.
Note that for these three, she says there's.
Okay.
If I went smoothly, we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. You make sure that it's great.
I need to get some, a couple of guys' business card. And a speaker in town.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's awesome.
We're gonna be able to hear past one.
What?
We'll be here past one.
I think so.
Well, it's 2:30. I don't know. I guess it just depends on how quickly we can. The first two are easy, but it's that third one that's really.
Yep.
And I don't know how to show you.
So you take that and that, and I'll take this.
How's it going? I'm all right. Good to see you.
Running late, but I could tell you I was running late. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I got to see.
Uh-huh.
He used her own writing.
You used hers? Awesome.
This is the one I had to argue for. They scored low. In fact,
Well, you know.
that was, you remember her?
Oh, like
She talked about domestic violence. She does a shade tree.
Failed as black.
She's only asking for 40,000. I talked to people at Shade Tree. So
Where did
she
he,
offers something to them that nobody else does.
where did
you
he
know, it's
find her writing
specialized.
and plagiarized from?
And that's needed,
She
you
has
know.
what's called an ed.
Yeah, I'm not. What was the score?
I don't know. They didn't. I know they didn't score that high.
So you copy and
Let me see.
paste
Look in here.
4 paragraphs from her lecture notes. And
It's even things she'd
What
notice.
happened to my Zoom grades? Oh, here it is. It should be in there, right?
I just looked at her. I didn't even say anything until like the, you're done, dude. You're done.
Where's it just has my score. It doesn't have
She she has that spreadsheet that has
that has her scores instead of in here.
well, it has staff and our average.
Let me look at fact scoring, right?
That was the staff score sheet.
Wait, decisions.
The only reason we're seeing it now is
Staff scored
we're
62.
literally driving through town. You drive right through Albuquerque and Santa Fe, so.
I scored 60.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, best pizza. There's a place called the Upper Crust Pizza, right off the plaza. So I told Brad, I'm like, that's where we're having lunch. We're having lunch at the Upper Crust. That's where But the next time you're in Santa Fe, or the place in New Mexico, go to,
Cut off. Oh, she may have cut it off here. That's why I can't see it.
that's where George O'Keefe's Ghost Ranch is. And I actually stayed there. I was at a Boca camp for a week and got to stay there. And it's, I had no business. I don't sing along to a local group, but I was there with the group. And the most spiritual thing I've ever experienced was singing the Hallelujah chorus.
Yeah, there is.
Hallelujah chorus. Singing that, we're in a screened-in porch on the top of this plateau, and you're looking out at all of those amazing natural formations that George O'Keefe painted a lot of. That's where Ghost Ranch is. It's right there. So we're sitting there, and I'm surrounded by all these incredible voices singing this amazing song, watching the sunset on this just tableau that you can't even imagine. It was so incredible. It was amazing. It was it was just amazing. Abigail, Ghost Ranch, amazing. Well, that's why this is our computer.
Yeah.
So obviously I focus on CDBG, but the others, to a certain extent, take care of themselves. Right? But
I'll see something's out. It's supposed to be shut up. And like this here is being spelled for us. And then second, just for clarification, have they found?
No fact, yeah.
I imagine they have, because they're going to be surprised or
what they've got that means is
which is.
that's just what they said.
Oh, it's right there. Oh, that's not.
I usually only drink half of it.
Fifteen, 15.
Could have went on the atrium area upstairs. Yeah. There's a little shade, but the temperature outside is gorgeous.
I go back to the office.
Yeah, that's true. I thought you were going to a meeting. Yeah, but now it's allergy season already. And that's no fun. Taking 6 different things for allergies. Sprays and pills and terrible. I've heard of it. Yeah, it's expensive.
It's also steroidal. It's steroid.
Yeah. I've
Las
looked
Vegas
into it.
Mix, have you done that yet?
No.
That's homeopathic, and I swear by it.
I tried it, it didn't work for me.
It has to be raw, and it has to be very local.
Las Vegas Mix.
Las Vegas Mix.
What is that?
It's these drops, so it's homeopathic, so it's an alcohol base, and it has micro amounts of all the things that are in the air here. Pollens, whatever is in the air, it's micro amounts.
Wow.
And when you put it under your tongue, and after about 3 days, you'll start seeing
Where do you get it at? Where do you get that
a
at?
health food store. You can order it on Amazon. It's like $18 for a bottle, and you just put like a half a dropful under your tongue, and it's very subtle. So it's not like it's not gonna hit you like you're gonna feel like $1,000,000. But if you do it for a few weeks, you'll start seeing that everybody around you has postnasal drip. You won't.
Wow.
And I used to get Camelot shots. I used to take Claritin. All
That's what I take. I take Claritin and Signature. I got no sprays. I'm taking that ocean spray.
Most of those are steroid based, and they actually deplete your immune system. So you're fighting
Because of the allergies. That's
something.
terrible.
Allergies are brought on because your immune system isn't 100%.
I went to every pollen
But if you increase your immune system, your body can resist those allergens a lot easier and a lot better. You won't have the adverse effect. So it's about bringing your immune system up, which is vitamins and
Yeah, I take vitamins.
vegetables.
I take a lot of vitamins.
I've been doing good with the honey, so.
Fish oil.
I use the honey too, but the Las Vegas Mix, because I go off and on, I forget. Once I start feeling better, I don't take it
Do you
anymore.
have that allergies too?
Well, I get the postnasal drip,
Okay, yeah, that's what I
and
get.
then once that sets in, then you start getting the itchy sore
Yeah,
throat,
yeah.
and then you get the sting up in your. So I don't get like deathly sick, but I used to. After I had kids.
I wouldn't say sick, but just feeling like crap.
Yeah.
It's like the
You get the
Benadryl
headache.
is like the only thing. Like when it's real bad, the Benadryls are the only thing.
You get the headache across the crown.
That, or my friend sent it to me on my Facebook account.
After you get to a certain age, those don't help.
I know, that's what's best. To me,
There's
it's
so
just
much
like,
in this town in between, the Florida olive trees. That's what's the other big one? The mulberry trees.
Mulberry, yeah.
That you're not allowed to plant anymore after it's illegal to plant them.
Oleander.
Oleander. Those are illegal to plant in Las Vegas. They have been for some time. And my neighbor's got one, and he has one. I
They
wish he
still
would give-
sell them
I wish
as
he would take
trees,
them
and I
out.
don't know if they changed it somehow, because they still sell, it's grafted oleander.
Because I thought a number of years ago, the county, I think it was the county, right, that banned
But
them.
it's the same with olive, it's fruitless.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can still plant as long as they're fruitless.
I can't lay in grass either. I lay in grass or organic grass. Like I could not. Some people could just lay in the grass. If I did that, I would be in so much pain. I wouldn't have hives all over my body.
I had to get big for because I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I wanted the grass, but I couldn't understand it, but
I lived in New York for a couple of years. I went to in New York City. I went to an allergy test. Shots in this arm, another 24 here. I'll never forget. Because I like literally within moments after the shot, I started not feeling so well. And it's only giving you a little bit.
Yeah.
So he looked
They're expecting just a surface
He looked at me, he
reaction.
goes, "You're allergic to everything." And then he went down the list, and he goes, "I'll be right back." So he went and got his Benadryl shot. He came and he looked at me, he goes, "I don't see this very often." He goes, "You're allergic to every single thing."
And my eyes, I mean, when it hits me, my eyes just, I feel like everyone's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I feel fine. I just look miserable."
Sometimes I wear contacts, and when it's real bad, I gotta take my contacts out because like you can't have contacts.
Oh, I thought I would come over and get shitty with the honey and catalog and all the things that are going for me.
I
So,
tried the honey, but it didn't work.
yeah, so it's
But it has to be local and it has to be raw.
Yes.
Because it has to have the pollen that the bees are and it's really hard to get that.
Yeah, I got it from the, you know where the farm is out there by the Gill Creek. That's I went there and got her honey.
Oh, okay, so that would be,
I think it may have helped her a little bit.
well, you have to eat so much, and that's the thing, if you're not ingesting a lot of honey, you're not going to get a lot of that. But
Every morning.
that Las Vegas mix, I swear by it, and I've had people who have children who obviously they don't want their immune systems broken down more. They want them to build them up, and it's a way to do it without all the steroid.
Now, do you take it in the morning?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I just take it.
Whenever you get up,
Yeah, I take that. A couple other things. It's part of my.
it helps. You do it year round.
Yeah, what happens is I'll run out, and then I'll stop taking it, and then I'll start feeling crappy, and I'll go, oh, I need to reorder
Notice
this.
the difference.
And Amazon is amazing because I can get anything and everything on Amazon.com, and if you're Prime, it's free shipping, and it's there in like 2 days.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad I wrote that down. For that. You just do a drop, huh?
No, it's like half a drop of full, so it's in like a little brown bottle. And you can get it at, I think I've seen it at GNC, but I think they probably price it at like $26. I paid $18, and that seemed to be the cheapest price I could find. But there's a few health food stores around, or yeah, I guess you would call them health food stores.
Oh, well, you should put this in Spanish. And I said, he said,
I've gotten to the point where it's just so much easier to shop online.
I brought it on set of the computer real quick. Dorson almost never, because they look at me and they go, when he does, I know I need something.
they're going to say there's different dialects in Chinese.
When I let him out in the morning.
And they don't understand
it.
it.
Down in the backyard. And I was thinking out there.
I just looked at it.
I was kind of like,
My husband, he eats everything he shouldn't. He always, I'm not very sympathetic, but he always has the postnasal drip. He always feels crappy, and he's retired.
Who's this?
He's my husband.
Oh, your husband.
So I work full time, and he's always malaise, and he always is not feeling so great. And I have, yeah, and it's all because of the allergies. It's all because of eating bad. It's all
He
because
doesn't take it. That stuff that you take. Or he doesn't want to. Can't convince him.
I think it's easier for some people to
But I found his story so interesting.
kind of identify with the more pills you take, the more, I don't know.
I apologize.
I have no desire to take anything.
$400 million worth of gold Visa card.
Resurrected from the dead.
Oh, no.
It's okay. I'm better now.
Motivational speakers for young people.
Yay.
Yay!
Okay. Awesome.
So, let me see what we're looking at. Are we starting with ESG or HAWA?
I'm going to start with HAWA.
Okay. Well, that makes it a lot easier.
Target to get out, so Tom can
And like I said, we should.
Yeah, this year's been a little hard for me for this, so I'm just gonna, yeah. I'm in the midst of changing jobs, I've
I told him, I
got,
said,
Yeah, a lot
"You don't
going
get to
on."
say anymore.
yeah, so I'm just
Because the first time she got pregnant, it was in his house, you know. But now she's like,
taking a bit of a back
I said,
seat.
this happened on my watch. This is
I have
not,
lost myself.
this is not, I said, I'm going to go take the money out of your account.
Wow.
Poor baby. So if you know anybody who wants a Chihuahua something mix. Her son,
Eric Nolan, she might get pregnant, so.
the other one, this is the Chia Pet. That's her last one.
The only one I left off of my list was Nevada Community
It's
Associates.
the Chia Pet. Yeah,
They got
he's
one of
adorable.
the lowest
He is-
scores, too.
He is absolutely
Somebody need a
adorable.
behind whooping.
Well, community
That's what they
counseling,
call it, huh?
I got B Lois,
What, you don't like the Chia Pet?
Just raw.
Sounds so aggressive.
Just
Vote no.
raw. Just raw.
well, and that's the thing too, in the past, we've had some very passionate people, so when they do
Are you ready for us, Ms. Shawn?
the motion, if you say no, you
Okay.
say no.
I
You're
am
on record of
calling the meeting back to order. Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
Staff apologizes.
God, staff, you're going to hate this. His computer logged out.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It
It's
might
just.
try
let's roll.
again, it might
Let's
do
go.
bad things here.
Oh, okay. So you're SOL. We can share.
For the record.
I didn't say it. Okay. Okay, so we are moving on to agenda item 4, discussion for possible action regarding the scoring and recommended allocation of fiscal year 2015-16 to the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS, HOPWA.
Sean Bolster, staff.
Yes, ma'am.
So what you will do with HOPWA, there are 5 agencies that apply for HOPWA funds. There are bonus points involved with HOPWA. Unfortunately, the way the application was written, there wasn't a spot for them to claim those, so I just took that out of the equation. It was not enough points, so it's not going to make a big difference. The big difference on your scoring is going to be that agencies that have housing as their primary purpose for the HOPWA funds scored up to 25 points. Agencies that are supportive services agencies only did not receive those points because the HOPWA grant is really focusing on housing right now.
Okay, and for Devinder Pappas, for clarification, though that 25 points is included in these scores?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
That is why you're going to see the big discrepancy between your agency and their other agencies.
Okay.
In addition, with HOPWA, you must have a recommendation of a minimum of $50,000.
So we must fund minimum 50. If they're going to be funded, they must get at least 50. Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Thank you.
and we're short about 150 to fund 100%.
That's
Okay.
these numbers.
So, board members.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
For HOPWA, we have total available funding of $1,099,589. Is that correct, staff?
That is correct.
Okay. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how we're going to divide that $1,999,589 amongst these 5, is it 5 agencies, Sean?
Yes. And they are here by scores, top down. So your top. Why did they do that?
Why is that,
No.
that should only be 140,000, not 200.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is that right there? Oh, okay. Okay.
She just changed the order.
Okay.
Okay.
Now they're in rated order. This is the combination of your scores and staff scores.
Thank you, ma'am. Board members, does anybody have any discussion on any of the applications before we start making recommendations for scoring?
And Sean Bolster, staff. Discussion is something a little new for you guys this year, so if you wish to bring forward points that you notice in an application, now's the time you can share your personal your
Observations.
scoring. You can share those because we're in a public meeting.
Member Taylor, Madam Chair, I would just say, even though Community Counseling Center scored as low as they did, the fact that they've been around 25 years, I was impressed with their track record. I was impressed with what they represent in their application. I was impressed with a lot of the funding mechanisms that they have in place. And so even with that low score, I would be supporting them. Community Counseling Center.
Which one was this?
Community Counseling Center.
And don't forget to say your, Demeter staff, Demeter Pappas, don't forget to say your name before you speak. So, Member Turner, are you suggesting that we fund Community Counseling Center at the minimum of $50,000?
Member Taylor, yes, I'm suggesting.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Please turn your name to us, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Member Taylor, I would suggest that we fund their request for $50,000.
Thank you.
Member McCoy. Can you tell me, since I don't have a calculator, the difference between what we have available and
We're right at the top.
Is that it?
660.
what is it?
No, 138,441.
That's the difference.
Actually, I did it backwards. So up here, I'm sorry, Sean Bowles, your staff. Your top one is your total applications. That's how much they've requested. Your next one is the available funding. Yeah, that green, so you know that's your money. This is your allocation amount over funding. And then over here, you have $50,000 that you have recommended so far. And this is what you have remaining to.
No. Do the math.
Just double click and see.
$1,099,000 already.
There is a difference between what was requested and what we have. I think it's...
D2. Perfect. And that's what we have left to allocate.
Yeah, so we're short 138.
Yes.
Yep.
So we now have $1,049,589 left.
Member Jennison?
So my personal thought on this is that, and I appreciate what Member Taylor had mentioned about them being around for 20-some odd years and that they didn't score highly, but I would caution us that just because someone's been around for a long time and that and I know that everybody's doing good work, but with a limited amount of funds, I'd like for us, I will be looking at, with the dollars available, who can make the most impact in the community with the outcomes that they said they were going to make. So I think they've done well, but I'm not sure that I would fund them just because as they rated on everything else compared to what the other people were doing, I'm not sure that they would have as much impact with the dollars available.
And one quick for you, Sean Bolster staff, had Community Counseling Center been eligible for the $25 in housing points, their score would have been 114.79.
Okay. Demeter Pappas, again, one more time for clarification, since the bonus points are new to us. The fact that they weren't eligible means that they aren't necessarily geared towards meeting the priorities that the council has set.
The way it would work for HOPWA is you would fund agencies that had housing as their top first, and then if you have funds left over, you're certainly, it's okay to minimally fund that particular agency. It's the only non-housing agency programming.
Thank you. Member Jordan.
Excuse me. Member Jordan, in regards to that, that was one of the considerations I made to piggyback off of what Member Jennison had mentioned, keyword impact. Been around for years, it's fantastic. However, when we requested last year to have the impact of the staff to come up with their evaluation and their numbers, this is where it comes into play as far as other things that they have done. So, yeah, they would have had 114 if they had been on certain levels, but right now, that's where they're at is 89.79, so my recommendation would be not to fund them.
Okay.
No,
Member McGrath, I vote fully fund Women's Development Center.
Second.
We're just recommending right now.
Oh.
No, we're
Yeah.
voting yes.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, part of my reasoning is that I have, you know, we've reviewed her for years, and I'll tell you that Tina is out there in the community. I open up the paper, I read the local publications, and she is out there hustling for the money. And I always look at alternate sources of, different revenue streams coming in, so that they're not totally dependent upon our funding. I think she does an admirable job, and, you know, by her combined scoring, it shows. Thank you.
Staff, what was the maximum, what was the highest score that HOPWA applicants could possibly have gotten if it had been perfect score?
$140? 140.
Thank you. Okay, so if we, Devinder Pappas, if we take Aid for AIDS of Nevada, their score of rounding 119, and figure out what the percentage of that is. So 119 divided by 140, they scored 85%. So let's give them 85% of their request. And let's do, let's see, the next one is Golden Rainbow, that's 119, rounding up. Divided by 140, that's 85% again, so. You should be able to just grab this first cell and write it down.
Second cell.
Oops.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just grab that, Sean, grab the 644 and just write it down.
I don't trust it.
Okay,
I don't trust any of it today.
okay, I don't blame you.
It's not my friend.
Remove the funding for community counseling center, please. And then the balance available is the 179, that's over, that's more than community associates wanted. So we don't want to fully fund community associates who got the lowest score. We should give some of that money. Let's give them, what's their percentage? Thank you, Sean. Yeah, go there and format for a percentage. 74. Okay, so look at funding for the 97. And that leaves us, we could still fund Community Counseling Center and give the balance of that perhaps back to.
Yes, the second one.
Split the balance, split the 31,000. So give 16,000 to Aid for AIDS of Nevada.
Hang on 1 second, I need to.
Change those numbers, yeah.
It'd be 660.
That's the engineer in our midst, yeah?
It's just round numbers. I hate these.
Why do they keep the low?
I'm sorry, plus.
Plus 16,000. And then give the remaining 15,963 to Golden Rainbow.
Just delete it and see what the difference is.
143, 463.
3, just to show you the math.
And that leaves us 0 funds remaining.
Hang on.
That means fully funding community counseling center? That doesn't seem fair
Well,
exactly.
the minimum, the minimum we can fund is 50,000.
Oh, okay.
So, while you're right, that's the minimum we can do.
Okay.
The math on that, so you know.
Thank you.
As long as you're 95%.
So members, discussion?
Member McCoy, just for clarification, the reason why community counseling did not get the extra point is because they do not provide housing.
Right.
But other than that, they do make an impact. If they got the 25 extra points because they provided housing, then they would have been right up there with Nevada Community Associates. Is that correct or no?
Sean Bolger, staff, they may have. I can't, I'd have to go back and look at how the staff scores went and how your scores went. The big difference, again, is that we want to fund agencies that are doing housing first. This is Nevada Community Associates first year applying for HOPWA. So you have Community Counseling Center provides supportive services to clients that these agencies would send to them for counseling. So they do provide a needed service. It's just that we want to fund housing programs first, and then if there's money left over, absolutely, you can fund other agencies.
Devinder Pappas, to me, this looks like a relatively good, hopefully effective way to share our limited funds out. Member Miller?
Carmen Sean Miller. Since the focus was housing, one of the things that in my deliberations is I always look at what their first priority is, just to try to get a number of what would be appropriate for the presentation. And based off of what we have on the board right now and the priority of housing, we're in alignment with what everybody's first top priority was, which was housing. And I'm comfortable with what we have on the board based off of that direction from council.
Member McCoy, I agree. That's my sentences.
Devinder Pappas, any more discussion?
Member Jordan, when Community Counseling Center first submitted this grant, did they know that housing was one of the priorities?
Yes. It should have. It was in the paperwork.
Right.
We didn't have a HOPWA TA meeting because there have been typically 5 agencies that have applied, but all agencies are told to review the HUD application manual because we go over any changes.
Thank you.
So, Member Janison, I appreciate the clarification on the community counseling, but when I look back on my notes and the scores for the Nevada Community Associates, my recollection is that there's some duplication of services, and I'm not sure why that some of the other ones, the Aid for Nevada and Golden Rainbow, aren't covering. So I really appreciate what you've done, right? And it seems like it's most equitable if all the world were fair. But it's not that I'm probably not going to vote for it, but I really feel like I have to say, I'm not sure that I feel like Nevada Community Associates should get that amount of money. I would prefer to at least give the full amount to Golden Rainbow and then deduct a little bit more from Nevada Community Associates because Golden Rainbow really scored highly and is doing a good job. And there is a duplication of efforts from Nevada Community Associates for me.
So Member Janison, make your recommendation.
So I'd like to fund Golden Rainbow at the full $150,000 request and deduct it from Nevada Community Associates.
Perfect. Discussion.
Member Audrey Aslin, I'm a little leery of the community counseling getting the 50 grand only because it was very clear to me that housing is health care, and that was the more of the emphasis of this. And with the duplication of services, you're taking away almost $100,000 from AIDS of Nevada, and that's housing. That's pure housing. So I would suggest taking away the $50,000 and just putting it up at AIDS of Nevada.
We can zero, just clarification to Devinder Pappas, we can zero fund.
Yeah.
We can zero fund, we just cannot fund below 50,000. So if we're going to fund somebody, they have to get at least 50, but we can zero fund.
Member Taylor, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a note with Community Counseling Center is that they interact and collaborate with AFAN, with Golden Rainbow, with a lot of these organizations, and even in their applications, they some of these other organizations, noted that they rely on community counseling center to a certain extent. I think that's important to put on the record, that while the housing component's not there, in the documentation we have in these applications, they rely on community counseling to complete some of what they offer to their clients.
Member McCoy?
Member McCoy, I would like to ask Member Taylor, can you tell me like some things that they do that are not duplicated by the other agencies that we are funding already, then specifically as to why they would need to collaborate then if the services are not duplicated?
Well, I'm not representing that services aren't, Member Taylor, duplicated through much of these organizations. All I'm saying is that they're relied on, that they rely on community counseling centers. They do go out, they're mobile to a certain extent. While they're not providing housing, the counseling component I thought was important. That's why I was recommending funding.
Staff, if I may. Community counseling services offers mental health and duly diagnosed counseling services to clients that have HIV. So they have HIV, they might have to go into counseling because, gosh, I just found out I have HIV and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Or I may have HIV and I have a mental issue, a drug issue, or an alcohol issue. So the only other agency that has started to do some counseling is AFAN. They've started to do some. They're trying to do some group at the housing units that they have.
Devinder Pappas, is this the first year that the HOPWA application, it has been so clearly focused towards housing with the bonus points and all of that? This is the first year that we're really starting to go that direction with this application?
Yes, we started last year, but this year is the first year that we've implemented the bonus points.
Thank you. Devinder Pappas, is there, for future funding requests, is there another category, the community counseling center, that this program might fit into better, where they wouldn't be penalized for not offering the housing?
They had previously applied for CDBG public service, but now they just apply for HOPWA.
So, Member Janison, I appreciate Member Taylor's comments. I'm looking at their application, and it says, and I appreciate the staff's also comments about what they do. You said that only AFAN offers the mental health at this point.
They've started.
They started. They're the only ones they say that they're working with, so they don't even say they're working with the other ones at this point. So I'm not sure that the collaboration is really there for that, and only because the priority is housing. I would agree with Member Aslan on focusing just on the housing at this point.
Board members, any more discussion?
I do. Member McGrath, we've got some a great dialogue going here. It's a heck of a gunfight between the two sides. But
friendly fire.
Friendly fire. But in looking at this, I agree with Member Taylor's remarks, and I think we've got enough in the pie that we can certainly award them $50,000. And there's one thing that I missed, and I can't believe I missed, I'm being hard on myself, is looking at the 3-year funding history, and that they are proposing using $25,000 for consultants. And I should have asked that for a clarification from them when they were up front. That's my fault. That's one of the things I always look at. But again, I think we've got enough in the pot here that we can fully fund them. And that's what I would recommend. And, I would say we could pull it out of certainly Nevada Community Associates. I mean, we can take it in pieces. Yeah. And Golden Rainbow. This is a tough decision. It's hard.
Member McGrath, may I make a
Please,
comment?
please.
So along those lines, because they already have the MOU with AFAN, what if we take that out of AFAN and give it to them? So that then they are supporting the work that AFAN is doing. So you take the 50 out of AFAN's.
That's excellent. And that's
Hang on, let's see if they
agreeable.
apply
for
for
that.
it.
Devinder Pappas, staff, just for my edification, what are you looking for? You're going to help me. You're going to help me learn how to read this better. Go ahead.
This is the budget. Sean Bolster staff, I just pulled it up. The AFAN asked for $72,000 for mental health services. So let us. So if you took. I'm just trying to give you guys some math to look at.
Is that done?
So if you were going to fund AFAN for everything but that particular component, then you would take AFAN to $686,530. Because they asked for $72,000 for that component.
Staff, if you
Does that
can go
make
ahead and
sense?
plug that in for us, please.
Member Aslan, it's just a reversing of what I did, that's all. I just took it and moved it up, so you're just taking it and moving down.
That's
And that's fine.
part of the
But,
negotiation.
yeah.
So you have 25.
No, I mean,
Well, I'd rather take it from Nevada, remember you, and I'd rather take it from Nevada Community Associates than AFAM. Based on my scoring, I don't know, but.
Devinder Pappas, we do have the percentages that we're showing over here on the right, where staff is showing us the percentage that we're funding each one of these groups. And, well, they were, and now she's taking it away.
Well, this would.
That's 100.
Women's Development Centers is, you fully funded that one,
Right.
which your top.
So,
So you have AFAN, you have Golden at 100, AFAN at 90%-ish.
Golden Rainbow at 100.
100. Nevada Community Associates at 38%, and then because they asked for the minimum, you have community council at 50.
Okay, staff, if you could add the 14,809 back to Nevada Community Associates for me, so it goes back to 64,809. Now, Devinder Pappas, our scoring, you know, everybody, most of you guys know I'm a big fan of the scoring and paying attention to the scoring. It seems inappropriate to me, even though we're talking about a huge disparity in the amount requested, that we're fully funding Golden Rainbow, but we're only funding Aid for AIDS of Nevada 90%, even though they got 70.75 points higher score. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it.
Transfers from
Member
over.
Jamison, but if you recall, so that 10% gone is now given to community counseling, which is supporting the same service that
Thank
AFAN
you.
asked for.
Thank you. Perfect. You're right.
Member Jordan. Okay, so we're looking at duplication. We're looking at taking money away from organizations that going into it was housing. All the criteria that were asked per grant, make an impact on the community, et cetera, et cetera. And we're going to give it to, and we want to fully fund the individuals who knew this going into the game, that are also collaborating with these other ones that are doing all the variables that have been asked for the grant. So I'm a little concerned if we're starting to go in that direction, and we still go into our other, our other vendors or individuals. Are we going to start bending in? I mean, what's
Well,
the?
if it helps Sean Bolster staff, I pulled up AFAN because all the other agencies have MOUs with AFAN.
Mhm.
So AFAN currently has an MOU with Community Counseling Center, Help of Southern Nevada, the center, the Gay Lesbian Center, Southern Nevada Housing Authority, Women's Development Center, and Nevada Community Associates, and I don't know who this is. AIDS Healthcare Foundation.
And that's all, Member Jordan, and that's all fantastic. However, my concern is, do we know, we call it forecasting, do we know if they're going to have housing next year? Or they just want to take the money and start up or continue collaborative efforts with the ones that are already doing it.
Commissioner Peppers, that's why I had asked the question about whether these were somewhat new initiatives, somewhat new directives being offered by the city council,
Right.
and whether next year we could perhaps encourage community counseling to look at another category to apply for that wouldn't impact, since this is relatively new, since these directives, this more aligned focus from city council is relatively new. That's kind of why I asked that question.
And Sean Bolster, for clarification, the Housing is Healthcare is from HUD itself, which funds the program. So HUD, Health and Human Services, are getting together and they are creating some new partnerships and things that they want us as communities to look at when we're funding HOPA programs. I just got an 8-page report that I have to read through on that subject.
Remember, Jordan, so that expressed the importance of, thank you, HUD, but we're going to give money to a person, give to an organization that's not going to have housing.
Well, they do support the agencies that do have housing, so they're not coming out of left field saying, well, I want to buy apples when everybody else is, buying
But these other
peaches.
agencies they have housing.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. And they all have MOUs with each other.
okay.
Member Miller. For those of us that have been on the board and have seen some of these agencies before, if you recall, we've had this conversation from a historical perspective about this, and I believe that we were very involved in encouraging the MOUs and encouraging the collaboration and putting forth that these are, what our concerns are. We understand as an agency you're attempting to create some parameters for operate from, but we're part of the community. That's why we're sitting board and we're trying to understand what it is. And I think it may change. It may change next year, it may not, it may go up a notch, but the fact that we have acknowledged it and said this is what we need to do, I think they'll hear us because historically, we've gotten what we've basically been concerned about. So, just from a historical perspective, so I'm ready to go.
So make a motion to close discussion?
Remember, I'd like to make a motion. Do I have to do each individual one?
Well, first we have to make a motion to close discussion.
I'd like to make a motion that we close discussion on what we have offered as.
Do we have a second?
Member Janison,
I
second. Oh, it's all yours, sir.
Okay.
For the HOPA program.
For the closed discussion for the HOPA program.
Close discussion for the HOPA.
All in favor of closing discussion for the HOPA program, say aye and raise your hand, please.
Let the member,
Let the record show it's unanimous.
thank you. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 members in attendance.
Thank you.
So any unanimous vote from this point forward will be 10 votes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Member Miller.
Now, do I do each individual
Each individual one.
Okay. I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Women's Development Center in the amount of $148,250.
I second.
I make a motion
Wait,
that...
wait, wait. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record reflect. Unanimous?
Thank you.
I make a motion that we Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund AIDS for AIDS of Nevada in the amount of $686,530.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous?
Thank you.
I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Golden Rainbow of Nevada in the amount of $150,000.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Nevada Community Associates in the amount of $64,809.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund a Community Counseling Center in the amount of $50,000.
Member Aslan, I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
One.
Opposed?
So,
One.
9-1.
Thank
No
you.
abstentions. Okay, so that closes the book on HOPWA.
Does she have to do
The
her
slate? I have
last?
to make the
Does she do
last
the
one?
slate? Or
The
does
slate?
she do that once at
Yes.
the very end?
I make a motion that we send the slate as presented to the City Council for the decision at the
At their meeting?
at the city council meeting
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
For Hopewell.
for Hopewell.
Opposed? Abstentions? Awesome. Unanimous. Okay, so that closes the book on Hopewell.
Thank you.
Staff, thanks you.
Defender Pappas, we spoke to Steve, and he said that he's going to suggest that this goes to before council in May.
Yes.
So,
Get painful.
You know which council meeting?
No, we are shooting for, it's going to be a huge council meeting as a matter of fact. We are shooting for May 6th. Because we have to take your slate forward, and then we'll be having them vote on our action plan and our 5-year consolidated plan. So, okay, Sean Wilson, staff, what you have in front of you now is.
I need to do the next agenda item real quick. Agenda item number 5, we are now going on to discussion for possible action regarding the scoring and recommended allocation of fiscal year 2015-16 to the Emergency Solutions Grant ESG. Staff.
Okay, what you have in front of you now is the ESG, and it should be, very good. It is in order of scoring. What you will want to remember with ESG is we had 3 categories. We had our wet shelter. We only had one agency apply for those wet shelter beds. We had rapid rehousing, where you could, the agencies could apply for 5 beds, 5 households or 10 households. So we split that funding in half. And $10,000 for 5 beds, 5 households for prevention. So for ESG, you have the opportunity to fund 1 wet shelter, 2 rapid rehousing, and 1 prevention. So you can split that between agencies, or you can award it to 2 agencies, 1 agency. The only agency that will be funded separately from everyone else would be West Care, because they are the only ones that applied for the wet shelter beds.
Thank you. Defender Pappas, a question for staff. You had provided the ESG funding recommendations for the other agents, for the other for the other governmental agencies, Clark County and Northwest. Is that this? Is that in Northwest Vegas? Is this it? This is it. Yes. This had been emailed to us. If we need copies, I'm sure we can send somebody to make copies. For my edification,
Do we have copies?
because I'm always confused. Do you want to go?
Yeah, I can make copies.
That would be great.
ESG funds do not, our focus is City of Las Vegas, the City of Las Vegas residents. So how does what their recommendations and their votes, how does that potentially impact our vote for this?
The ESG is kind of a tricky grant, because we're allowed to go outside of our boundaries. So if perhaps someone was across Las Vegas Boulevard, which is North Las Vegas, but came down to our Center of Hope, we wouldn't necessarily turn them away for funding, because with ESG dollars, we are allowed to go multi-jurisdictionally. The big difference is the way that the other agencies allocate the funds. So they allocate the funds for regular shelter operations, rapid rehousing, and homeless prevention. Whereas what we did with our shelter operations, we said we are only going to fund a wet shelter bed. So those agencies that traditionally would come to us and ask for operation funds, Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, HELP, Lutheran doesn't have these 2 don't have a shelter. But those agencies that would normally come to us and ask for a shade tree, those operating dollars, they did not this year, because we said we were only going to fund the wet shelter beds.
That's one thing. Staff, Tara Ulmer. One reason why we wanted to share with you what the other jurisdictions funded is because HUD has been mandated that every community implement a coordinated intake system. And they've also mandated that all ESG recipients have to coordinate through that coordinated entry system. So it doesn't matter where a person is from, they have to go through that coordinated intake system in order to access ESG services.
And Dividend Path is invited by, and that is what allows us to not really pool funds, but to be able to be aware and share the benefit.
Yes.
Okay.
Another reason is we shared the other jurisdictions because it could be that all of the agencies came to us, and you may want to consider as the board, if an agency received funds from another jurisdiction and another agency scored high in this within you, that you may want to fund them, and then both agencies are receiving money, or all three agencies are receiving money. So that's another reason why we wanted to share that.
And
So-
all our residents still benefit.
Yes,
That's the key.
yes.
Thank you. Okay, staff. Can you give us the copies?
I'm going to go make the copies, but the other thing I wanted to share real quickly, staff, Tara Omer, you have requested what agencies are currently receiving ESG funds and how they are currently spending. So I have that for you, and as I go make the copies real quick, I'll go ahead and pass that out so you can take a look at it.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
Just real quickly on it, we had, for this fiscal year, we funded 3 agencies. We funded Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, and West Care. We funded ESG for shelter operations and rapid housing. For Catholic Charities, for Salvation Army, we gave them operations, rapid housing, and homeless prevention. And for West Care, we only gave them shelter operations because that was all that they asked for. Now, these were the allocations that you all gave last year, okay? I also put on here Help Us Up in Nevada because they are still spending FY 13-14 funds. So I wanted to share that with you as well.
Thank you.
So real quickly, Sean Bolter staff, your maximum score is 175. So if you look at the way that the funding was requested, you have West Care, who asked for the full amount for the wet shelter beds. Catholic Charities requested the full amount for rapid rehousing. Salvation Army requested the full amount for rapid rehousing. Help Us Southern Nevada asked for rapid rehousing and that $10,000 in prevention, as did Lutheran Social Services. And I think Nevada Community Associates rounded up, I'm not quite sure why they did that, or rounded down, but they asked for 5 rapid rehousing beds plus the prevention beds.
Member Jordan, I recommend full funding for West Care, Nevada, $160,600.
Second?
You have a second.
Oh, still discussion?
Yes.
Between discussion and the motion, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
Well, member Taylor, my discussion is I agree with him.
Member Jordan, I appreciate it.
No problem, member Taylor.
Noted.
You could say, use the words you recommend, you'd like to see. Suggest. So your tough job is going to be deciding how you're going to do the rapid rehousing. You can do 5 beds for one agency, 5 beds for another agency, and then the prevention, or it's really up to you.
Madam Chair, member Taylor, I would recommend that we fund Salvation Army in the amount of $100,000.
You can't do that. It has to be half of this, which is $80,222.
Then I would change my motion and do half that, or my
So you're
recommendation.
going to fund them for 5 beds?
Yes.
Someone's going to get $1 less, but we'll figure that out when we
Sorry, Sean.
make it right.
Well, then, Dividend Path is based on scores, since Catholic Charities scored highest, I suggest we give the rest to Catholic Charities.
I would agree.
It's up at the top, Sean, 990, 272. No?
Nope, they can't have that.
Okay.
They didn't ask for it.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome to my world.
What is it, 80?
So now you have the $10,000 in prevention, and the 3 agencies that asked for prevention were Help of Southern Nevada, Lutheran Social Services, and Nevada Community Associates.
Yeah. And I guess it goes to help.
Then the Democrats, I suggest we give them 10,000 to help again, since they scored the highest in the combined scores.
Member Taylor, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Member Jordan, agree.
Just
Board members, any discussion?
No.
I'm sorry?
the word is zero fund.
Oh, yeah. The zero funding is, I found it on there for you. Line of funds. Okay, do we have a motion to close discussion on our ESG applications?
Member Jordan, make a recommendation that our ESG applicants.
Because it's rounding up. It's not cutting it in half. You don't have the .50.
Once it gets balanced.
Just subtract the dollar from Salvation Army, Sean.
I did it.
It's the, yeah.
Put it in parentheses. No, I'm sorry, put the formula in parentheses.
I'll fix it.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a motion to close discussion for ESG. Do we have a second? Thank you, Member McCoy.
Right.
All in favor of closing discussion on ESG applications?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, unanimous? Member Miller?
Verbiage. Okay. Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund West Care Nevada Incorporated in the amount of $160,600. Do I add for what specific language for wet shelter?
Yes.
For wet shelter.
Second the motion.
All
Member
in
Aslan.
favor?
Aye.
All in favor?
Unanimous?
Thank you.
I make a motion, Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Catholic Charities of Southern Nevada in the amount of $80,272 for rapid rehousing.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Member Janison abstains.
So 99 for 1 abstention.
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to State Council that they fund Salvation Army in the amount of $80,271 or 72? $71 for rapid rehousing.
Okay. I got the score.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Health of Southern Nevada in the amount of $10,000 for rapid rehousing.
For prevention. Just for prevention.
Just for prevention?
Yes.
For prevention.
Member McCoy, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund Lutheran Social Services due to lack of funds in the area of rapid rehousing and prevention.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they,
Sean?
I make a motion that we suggest, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund Nevada Community Associates Incorporated due to lack of funds in rapid rehousing and prevention.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous?
Very good. Okay. Member Miller, am I ready? Okay, all right. Member Miller, I make a motion that we send the slate as presented to the City Council for decision at their council meeting.
Member Aslan, second.
For ESG.
All in favor?
Aye.
Staff,
Unanimous?
thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, board members. Lost my agenda. Item number 6, discussion for possible action regarding restoring the recommended allocation of fiscal year 2015-16 Community Development Block Grant Public Service.
Okay, so
You already have it open, it's just the first tab, Sean.
No, separate document, I left it open upstairs.
Oh, it might be open on my desk, no? No, you saved mine. Do you want me to close mine so you can get to it?
Nope.
Okay.
One of my.
Okay. Devender Pappas, this is going to be the fun one, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to divide this up, it looks like by groups. We're going to be looking at homeless, seniors, special needs, and youth. I suggest that let's go ahead and let's just start with, special needs, since it's the smallest. There's only 4 applicants, and that'll kind of ease us into it a little bit easier as we go. The staff?
Sean Bolger, staff. So with the CDBG program, it is broken out into those 4 categories. Mayor and council have provided you with percentage rates, ratios that they want to see for each funding group. So homeless, they would like to see between 40 and 50% of the total award for the homeless programs. They would like to see between 15 and 25% for the senior programs, up to 15% for special needs, and between 15 and 25% for the youth programs. So what I have done, I know there's a lot of numbers and it looks crazy, but there's a method to the madness. So to assist you on this side over here, you're going to see the first priorities. And as you can see, the 15% of the total amount that's available, which is, yes, that's right, $705,320, which is a pretty nice little chunk of change for us this year. Very excited about that. The first priorities that the applicants asked for in this column, and I went to the second. So the total for special needs, the first priority that the agencies asked for is $184,200. So you should be okay with looking at first, but I've also given you their second priorities to help you with your funding decisions. I've also shown you that 65% of the maximum score for special needs is 101, 70% was 109, and 75% is 116. So you would have an idea, if you needed to make a cutoff, kind of where you'd want to put that cutoff.
Thank you,
The C, I took it up to the C grade for you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay, so Devender Pappas, I'm going to dive right in, because I'm not shy. I would like to suggest, based on the first priority and the scores as provided by staff and the board, I would like to suggest that we fund, now the minimum funding for all of the CDBG applicants is $15,000, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I would like to suggest that we fund Women's Development Center in the amount of $15,500. That represents approximately 81% of their first priority, and 81% is what their score was. So they scored 125 out of a possible 155, so that's 81%.
It was 127.
120, looking at the wrong, 127. Special needs?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm looking at the max score. Thank you. I'm working off a different spreadsheet, so I apologize. I would like to suggest that we fund Blind Center of Nevada in the amount of $19,000. FACT, tell me when you're ready. FACT in the amount of $30,500.
Hold on.
Wait,
Sorry.
Blind Center.
Yeah. Hang on. You must, you look
Do I
at
not
the-
have it in the same order you do? I am so, well, then my numbers are bad. I don't know. Take a gift for coming up with my own bloody spreadsheet, right?
But you felt good, that's what's important. I'm sorry, Member Jordan.
Okay.
Why don't I do this for you?
How did my scores get off? If we we start off minimum funding all of them.
So if you, Shambo staff, I threw that up there for you to look at, if you want to see how the math plays. You've got 45,298-ish.
Oh.
Okay. So, go ahead, dive in, people.
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, I would recommend that we fully fund fax requests for $40,000. And I say that, Madam Chair, board members, based on the fact that they do interact with Shade Tree. I spoke with Shade Tree, and they explained that the training, which we were given a presentation on by FACT, is very specific in domestic violence and dealing with women and children. And this is a training that Shade Tree indicated that they highly rely on. So that's why I'm recommending that.
Thank you. Board members.
Member Jordan, I don't second it because I'm not what to say, but anyway, I recommend that also with an addition to the blind center increased 10,000 to 25,000. Thank you.
Member Taylor, I would agree with that. Member Jordan.
Oh, my goodness. We're getting consensus, people. Okay, so we've got, I would like to suggest, and just a minute, Kathleen, just so you guys know, the reason I'm rounding up to the 500 is to make it a little bit easier for staff. If we can round up or down to the nearest 500 in our numbers, it's going to make their lives a lot easier. So I would like to, definitive path is based on scores, and there is still money to be awarded. I'd like to award that $10,298 to Women's Development Center.
I like it.
Board members, discussion?
Member Taylor, motion to close discussion.
Second, Member Jordan, second.
No, wait.
No, that's just quick.
Just real quick, just remember Jimenez.
Let's for Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
I withdraw my motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member Jimenez.
I would like to suggest not to fund FACT because I remember her presentation and the amount of people she can help is very small. It's like one counselor, she does classes, no Spanish classes, and they didn't extend the service to men either. I'd rather give the money to Women's Development Center or.
Well, we can't fund more than they requested, so.
Okay,
you'd
so
like-
then Positively Kids.
Well,
can we-
So,
Here's your requests here, just so you don't get confused. This is your request. This is your recommendation.
Okay.
so you're suggesting that we zero fund FACT, right? I'm just helping you with the verbiage. You're suggesting that we zero fund FACT,
Yeah.
that we that we fund Women's Development Center fully, and that leaves $33,798 left. So you would suggest fully funding Blind Center and giving the rest to Foundation for Positively Kids?
Positively Kids, yes.
Staff?
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, they indicate on their application, I believe, that with 100% funding, they would be able to help 50 individuals. Just for a point of record, to put that on the record. And the training, as I mentioned earlier, it's a unique training, and it's specific to the services and the people that they help at Shade Tree. And so I think the fact that Shade Tree, who's been around for a long time, Shade Tree has a great track record in this community, And when Shade Tree speaks highly of some organization, I think that should go a long way.
Member McCoy, I agree.
What's your suggestion?
Member Taylor, my suggestion is my original recommendation to fully fund the request for $40,000.
Where would you take the 40 from?
I'd split it between the Blind Center and the Foundation for Positively Kids, based on the scoring.
Thank you. Board members, discussion.
I do. Member McGrath, Member Jimenez brings up some very good points. However, I don't agree with zero funding fact based on that. Due to their, the high scores, from staff and the committee. But points noted. But I can't see. It's just it wouldn't be done, in my opinion.
Devinder Pappas, it's one of the challenges that I have when I'm reading these applications has always been the biggest bang for our buck. And just because they're not going to get that they may not get that initial impact, when we look at the dribble down effect of what that counseling might do for a family, or the training that she's doing with these other organizations like Shade Tree, there is a significant impact in there. I do think that there's real value there. What I'd like to suggest is perhaps rather than fully funding FACT for the $40,000, perhaps I would like to suggest that we fund them for $30,000 and give $10,000 of that back to Blind Center of Nevada.
Jordan, I concur.
Member McCoy, I recommend we close our negotiations and
Member McGrath, I second.
All in favor for closing discussion?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Unanimous. You're on.
You can, I would wait.
Oh, that's right. No, you're right. So we get to
Till
the
you're
whole slate.
all finished, because you may have occasion to
Cool.
scooch.
That's correct, Devinder Pappas. I thank you for pointing that out, because while we can fund special needs up to
15.
15%, we may find that we need to, thank you very much. I was still in my ESG's HOPLA mode, so thank you very much. So I'd like to suggest we move on to youth. Is that good for everyone?
Good.
I'm just going to mark that with the green so you know when we go back and forth, show
That-
your staff that you did that one first.
Thank you.
Youth.
Okay. Devinder Pappas, I think you changed the scores on me, Sean. I think that's why my numbers were off.
I thought, did I say I went back in to make sure that before I closed it, that the scores, after I closed it.
Oh, I just probably got ahead of myself. You know how I am. So I'm just putting in so I can. Okay, I'm gonna throw some numbers up there to start us off, and we can tweak them. Devinder Pappas, again based on scores and percentages of the first priority, I would like to suggest that we fund. First off, based on scores, I'd like to suggest that we, to cut down on discussion and make life easier for us, that we zero fund anybody who scored lower than 70%. That's lower than a C of the combined scores between staff and oh wow, your scores changed a lot from what I had. Okay.
Your Shopwalter staff, your biggest change, your jump, is you have an agency that with a 125.34, and the next agency down scored 113.45.
Those three.
So you can make the argument that you won't score anything under 125.
Okay, so I'd like to suggest that we, for discussion purposes, we can change this line anytime. For our discussion purposes, we don't find anybody who scored below 125. So that way, that cuts down on how many we have to talk about, okay? And then my numbers are good. So I'd like to, you ready, Sean? Okay.
A little bigger so you could see it.
Thank you.
Can
I'd
you
like
guys see that okay?
I'm working on it. I'd like to suggest, I didn't bring glasses. I'd like to suggest that we fund, spread the word Nevada, $25,000. I'd like to suggest that we fund Anderson Inc., $20,000. Clark County Public Education Foundation, $15,000. Southern Nevada Public Television, $15,000. 15 down the line from there. Just to make it easier for you, Sean.
You are at,
Remember, Jordan, this is the 15 minimum, right? 15K.
That's correct. We cannot fund less than $15,000.
so you're at, your minimum for this category is 105,000. Your maximum is 176, so you're in a nice medium range there, if you want to.
What is our number?
You're at 150, you at 150,
Okay.
and
There's
your max is
26 left.
176. So there's
26
26 left
26,000.
here. You can move to another category that's play with it more.
What is the 150? Is that 15% or is that?
That is kind of in the middle. It is actually, I'll tell you right now.
Remember Aslan, I think everybody's going to see when we get to the bigger category
So we're
why
going to need that money.
you can't get much past the 15%.
Just type in the 150. It'll be easier.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, did you want to know what percent?
The 150 is of the grant money we have available to give.
It looks like 20%, right? 'Cause maximum is,
And we can give 26%, it looks like.
705.
Yeah, we can give 25%.
Yeah, that's the max.
what are you doing?
Sometimes just type 150. It's 705,320.
320.
705,320, Sean.
21%.
705.
Get 320.
320.
So we're in a nice middle ground. We're going to have this, and remember, Aslan's right. We might be needing that 9% someplace else.
5, 4,
4%, sorry.
I mean 6.
Do I hear 8? So, should we move on to seniors?
Yep.
And then come back and play with them?
Yes.
For seniors, you have the same, between 15 and 25%. Make sure that it's by score.
Does it look a little tiny bit out of focus to you guys, or is it just me? Because I don't think I'm that old.
It is.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And because it's in the ceiling, I don't think there's anything I can do about it.
That's okay. I was just asking if it was just me, because I'm sitting here
I keep
going.
focusing too hard. It is a little. Next time I'll use our projector and we'll make it bigger on the wall.
Okay. What do you think, campers?
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, I would recommend that we fund Three Squares' request for $54,000.
Defender Pappas, just to point out to our board, we have between $105,798 and $176,330 for this category. So,
Member Janison, I'm not sure if this is probably I don't think I'm flowing with your thing, so I apologize. But I think this is the one for me, that this was the Lutheran Social Services when they were doing the healthy. It wasn't for food, it was all about the health, right? Is that
Which one?
for Lutheran Social Services?
Let me go back to health program.
Because,
I'll pull it up for you.
because that was, if that was the case, I believe it was exercise program.
Yeah, this is the exercise program.
And so the only reason that I'm hesitant to give them much on that is because of the other needs around the food and security and the things that other people are going to be providing. It was a new program as well.
Yes.
The Sean Bolzer staff, Lutheran Social Services asked for $63,787 to pay for 2 case managers.
That's why.
$10,000 for adult diapers and $9,500 for equipment.
Okay, thank you for clarification, staff. Okay.
So did you have an amount on there, Member Jansen?
Well, so at this point, I'd like to say 0 for that, just for discussion.
Okay, so Dominican Peppers, I'm going to throw some numbers up there for you, okay? We'll start with Jewish Federation, Sean. 52,500, 14,500 for Alzheimer's.
Maybe 15.
You have rebuilding?
I'm sorry, 15. Is my order off again?
Yep.
I'm sorry. 24,500 for rebuilding. And then next is Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is 15. Then next is Helping Hands, 24,500. Lutheran Social Services, 0, she said. Gay and Lesbian Community Center, 33,500. That's for discussion purposes.
You are over by $27,670.
Over.
Base category.
That's over 25%.
Correct, over 25%. Your maximum for this particular category is 176,330, because that is 25% of the overall amount.
Okay, Dominican Cap is based on scores. I'd like to suggest that we reduce 3 Square down to 40,000.
Now you have 13,670. Sorry.
Member Jordan, reduce, I'd like to see reduce rebuilding together by 13,000. About 13,670, whatever it is.
That only leaves $10,830.
So
You have to fund
them
them.
15 then, right?
It's, yeah, 15. Another,
Helping Hands.
Gay and lesbian.
Gonna take from gay and lesbian.
Can't take it from gay and lesbian.
Member McCoy, based on score, you reduced one amount. Gay and lesbian has 113, so I suggest we reduce them and minimum fund them 15,000.
Member Taylor, I would agree with that, but what I would do is I would fully fund 3 Square's request and 0 fund the Gay and Lesbian Community Center based on score. Member Taylor, again, Madam Chair, I don't think we should cut the funding for 3 Square based on their track record and what they provide for the community. And I think just based on scoring, since we have been going off scoring, I think the 0 funding or at least minimal funding for that 113 score, I think is acceptable.
You have $333 left you can give to someone without 0 funding. Just don't want it 0 funded.
Or we can carry it over to another category.
True. Member Taylor, do you still want to 0 fund the gay and lesbian?
Yes, based on score.
Member Jordan concur.
Okay, so
And that doesn't,
group.
remember, Aslan, you don't have to use the 15,000.
No.
Because right now you're at 161, which is about 23%, and you're going to find out that we're already in the neighborhood of 60-something% of your total budget, which only leaves you less than 40% for the big category.
So you want to suggest we move on for right now?
Yeah.
Motion to close discussion on seniors. category?
We're not actually, I don't think we're going to actually.
We're not closing
Did
it.
we close discussion on the others?
no.
Because
I thought we did.
We just moved on to the next category.
Withdraw my motion to close discussion.
Because we won't be able to come back. Yeah.
Member Jordan
You're a
concurred.
parliamentarian, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Demeter Pappas, I'd like to make a quick request. Just because we got started a little bit late, can we take like a 5-minute break and
Oh,
grab a
absolutely.
big bottle
Yes.
of water and?
Because I
Break.
don't think it's going to take you guys an hour to get through the next category.
Yeah, so let me
Even though
just-
we started late.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break.
Staff is very sorry.
Staff brought you treats.
Thank you. Are you going, when we move to the last category, are you going to tell us what our final percentage is? Okay.
May I do that for any?
Because I think that's going to be a rude
It's not ladies only.
He's going to Valley of Parkies.
She got her badge, she's good.
Okay,
Give them all to me. Come on.
thank you.
Two of you choose.
Yes, I did, and it's the pumpkin pie. They're the best. I love those, it tastes wonderful.
You sure you don't want me to take care of that? Because I can't. Okay.
He's doing his husbandly duty.
All right.
Good job.
Only one on this board, that's it.
It's okay. And if you guys have questions or qualms, it's okay to say something. That's your,
Pick up a little basement for a shot. You want to bring it?
if you saw something in the application you want to talk about, it's okay to talk about it. No, that's okay.
recording because
Oh, okay.
She's going to blank it out though from that. But I can take that back to them and say, listen,
Because I don't end
you
up
have anybody
straight my
that
brother-in-law,
can
the deputy chief.
maybe help
I
you.
don't want to go over that being.
I'll take that back to the agency.
You're working on.
You just finished seniors.
Takes like 7 or 8 times.
Homeless.
You going back to better and come back.
Seniors.
More like
Right.
we just special needs. And they see people in their office as well. They see people.
We did youth.
Victims of.
No, we haven't done youth yet. Yeah, we did.
Sexual abuse.
Yeah, we did. We did.
It's sad.
Yeah, we just have homeless.
Crazy people. How are those things?
Yeah, good.
Oh, well.
I'm green, I like sugar, so there you go.
Yeah, we have money, we got money we're rolling over.
Let's get back, y'all was done.
Usually have a
Sean, we only have homeless left? You have homeless left, and then they can go back and then they'll make triple check.
That's why I didn't know. Yeah, we got homeless.
Yes, and then they'll make a motion.
No.
Staff's very sorry that the computer ate her spreadsheet. That was mortifying. Mortifying.
I ran out the booth for like 2 seconds, he said that was done.
I don't know what I did.
I
No, I was working on it. I have.
Pretty good.
Save it, well, I have to.
Follow what we talked about?
I looked it up, but I haven't done a lot. Oh, I did. I actually did look it up, and it was about more about accommodation than it is about.
So I'm just going to scroll
I kind
up.
of briefly looked at it, and it had a lot to do with accommodation, which he might need when it
Are we on
comes to like
seniors? Is that where we
typing
are?
or something.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Is this accommodation? You need accommodation.
No, now you're gonna do
How
homeless.
many people know that you can
Oh,
take
seniors at home.
9 hours?
I agree.
That's not even in the Bible.
We just did.
But without some sort of funding or grant, that doesn't really.
Well, like fees, he'll get, is he eligible for million?
That's
No, he didn't get the grades. I don't know if you can apply for it after your first year of college, because he's got straight A's now. But he did it in 3 days in high school.
Was he ever denied? Does he automatically give it to you? Get this list, okay, you have 3 people on both. Then you should be able to apply again. Remember, you get money assigned to the individual student.
Okay, so I should apply for that.
Yes. Oh, my God.
I always invite you guys to work out with me, and I don't know why y'all.
Where do you work out at?
LVAC. But my friends won't work out with me, I don't know why.
What's the next one? Homeless? Homeless next? Okay.
Semesters and 12.
Everyone's not their class, but no, I do.
Okay, what do we got?
Flexibility training.
I'm okay with the 9. And that would be
One of my friends go, you next round. You next round. I said, if you come in, I'm going to go slow because I'm going to go on what you can tell me and I'm going to explain everything. So one day she agreed, and she worked out. Oh, she's been working out. But see, I said, what I do, and I think this is what happened in the fitness industry, is people will go into class, you'll see a girl that's this big, and she's just hopping around like a little mosquito. Now, nothing I don't want to do. You know, so then these are the following people you have in class. The ones that are trying to stay up with the little mosquito.
Oh, you too. Yeah,
There's a lot I don't know.
The ones that if she was, he or she was a good instructor, would show them different modifications on how to do a move based off of their fitness level. Okay, because when I used to teach, and I was certified by Reebok, I used to always give 3 different ways to do it based off of what you could do.
What's the last category?
Well, yeah, I wanted you to kick off.
Yeah, but we're going to find
The
out.
biggest money one, yeah.
You're going to find out. We all are going to find out that this one is 40 to 50% for homeless, and
Oh, yeah.
so 50% of 700 and whatever is 350, right?
Yeah.
350 right there. And I don't know if she did a tally to tell us where we are in our funding at this point. I don't think she has.
Probably not.
That's why I was asking for some, trying to figure out.
I mean, it's pretty easy if you know the first one we did was 15%, the second one was 21, the other,
Bigger numbers, a lot of these requests.
and then that's more than 50%, and we'd probably like to be closer to 50% on this. So just percentage points, we're over. So if we're going to go 50%, we need to pull these back to 15 and probably 20.
If you circulate the first one.
But because I wouldn't alternate,
Because if you went with 15, 15, 15, and 50, then that's still, you've still got 5 percentage points. So since we're at 15, 21, 25, yeah.
but it goes to how you instruct. And I remember when I first.
That's at the bottom. They asked for 20 anyway.
Nothing like having a whole bunch of people sitting there watching you.
So, I mean, so really, when you start looking at this, we really have to take a look at
15 women in this class that are over the age of 45. And
what was asked for, which I don't see anywhere.
Catholic Charities asked for 85,000. Yeah.
Oh, request is 780.
Yeah, requested.
Holy crap.
Requested was, yeah, so they were over what the request is over what we have for the whole entire.
For the whole, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So
That's why I think I put down Salvation Army asked for what? 50? And I think I wrote down 71,000. I was doing my math.
For people to.
I wish we had $250,000 to give them. I think 71,000. I was doing my math at home before I came up with that. Let me see.
They want to get down like this.
I don't know. There was a method at one point. I just can't remember. But I wrote $71,055.
Especially for your leg muscles to assist you on that. Then as you get more comfortable and keep your form
They asked for
straight,
250, right?
then you'll be able to do the 5 to 6 to 7 reps. See, a lot of the people get in there and the brain goes. Okay.
We went into your purse, we got it out.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear. So,
Jerry, I was collecting.
that's one of the reasons why some people will invest in a trainer.
Okay, board members, you ready?
And they'll go through the trainers because some people, I'm not training to be a storyteller. I I just want to be healthy.
I'll get you next year.
Okay, board members, we are calling back to order for the Community Development Recommending Board. We are moving on to item number 6, discussion for possible action regarding scoring a recommendation on allocation for CDBG for the homeless portion. Staff, did you have anything for us?
Sean Bolster, staff, this is the largest chunk, I guess. You have, City Council has said that they would like 40 to 50% of the grant. So you have anywhere from $282,000 to $352,660 to allocate out. This might be the grant where you want to discuss anything, your notes, apps, because it is the largest category with the largest ask. Your difference is your requests are $782,570 for $352,660. So you're about $400,000 and change off.
Less than half.
Member Aslan, but also keep in mind that I think our percentages for the other 3 categories was 15, 21, and 25. Is that correct? So we're over we're eaten into this already.
No, you have, for Sean Wilshire staff, for the seniors, you had 15,330. You know what I can do?
That's about 23% though.
Yeah, we can solve for this 21.
Member Miller?
I'll show you what you have left over real
Okay.
quick here.
Have someone withdraw?
Yes.
In this category?
We did. That was the Veterans Village had withdrawn.
And then, so it's not listed up there, or did I misread it?
It's not up there.
Okay.
Sean took it out for us.
Okay.
Devinder Pappas, I would, because of the disparity in the amounts requested by these agencies, and while I hate to penalize a full-service agency for, I hate to penalize them for being a full-service agency and for asking for the world, at the same time, we do have a limited amount of funds. I'd like to suggest that we consider a maximum funding amount for this category of $50,000. Just a box.
Member Taylor, Madam Chair, so for example, if you were to fund just using one of the higher scoring ones like the Salvation Army, funding only 30% of what they requested, I guess that would get you around like $70,000. So just keeping that in mind, just for a basis, I think it would be about $70,000 to Salvation Army, just because they were one of the higher ones. But I think it's a good starting point.
Remember, Aslan may have been correct. What I did was, Sean Bolster staff, is I went through for you. This is what you have allocated or suggested to allocate for the other groups. You have, let me make sure. Yep. You have 161 for your seniors. You have 105 for your special needs and 150 for your youth.
So you're closer to the 25% on 2 categories and 15 on 1. So that's 65% right there.
So you only have 288,000. I don't know how that happened.
Unless we make adjustments at other places. Because we stayed at the bottom, because we're in the middle of that range instead of at the bottom of that range.
Right.
Okay.
Because if you were to do 15, 15, 15, that's 45. And we went 15, almost 25, almost 25.
I just want to make sure my math was right for you guys.
So, Devinder Pappas, I have a launching point for us.
Member Janison, so I'm confused. Can you go back to what you were talking about, those numbers? Because they said at 15% is what is the minimum that we could do.
15,000.
No.
Oh.
So the 15% that we could do for special needs, right? Is that what they were saying?
Right.
That's the
That's the
maximum
only one
we
that
can give them.
doesn't give
Maximum.
a
And that's
Not up to $100, 15% of
the total.
total.
But the ranges. So what I'm saying is the one is up to 15%, which we use 15. The other one is 15 to 25. We were closer to the 25.
Okay.
The other one was 15 to 25. We were closer to the 25. So just round it off, 25, 25, 15. You're already at 65. That only leaves 35. And we're supposed to be between 40 and 50. So we're over allocating. Just looking at percentages is all I was saying.
She's right. So, board members, do we want to go back and revisit the other categories and see if we can adjust that before we even get started on homeless?
Yes.
Okay, which one do you want to start on first?
Right here.
We're going to leave, I think youth is okay because we're at 50%, right? So we can leave youth alone?
Oh, that's a
Look at
special
all of
needs.
them just to
Youth
see.
is at 21%,
Oh, I'm sorry, not youth,
Special
special
needs.
needs is at 50%.
up to 15%. So.
You could go
15
below.
You go below, but you can't go over. Does that make sense?
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, do you think it would be better to just go through the next category and then see what we need to fix, as opposed to going back and cutting stuff already?
Well, Demeter Pappas, we know we have to cut anyway because we have to be at least 40% for that, for homeless. And we're already over, we're at 35, thanks to
Somewhere.
Rapslin's math.
Right.
So I do think that we're probably beneficial to at least find that other 5%. And then we can go back and come back and revisit.
So, Member McCoy, I would like to zero fund Positively Kids.
Are we in youth?
I don't know, I can't see.
Special
the-
needs.
Special needs, okay.
Can we go to you?
Is that a motion or discussion?
No,
This is all discussion. This is all discussion.
Okay.
Thank you.
In the youth category, I would like to take Spread the Word to $20,000. I would like to take $5,000 from everybody.
We can't.
You can't. It's all minimum.
5,000 for the top two.
Shoot.
That's
Okay, I'm good with
That's
that.
it. You just got us 10,000.
Okay,
So you want to take Anson down to 15,000?
yes.
Okay. Okay. And Sean, let's see what that percentage is now.
What was the last category we did? Oh, I'm sorry, Member McCoy, that we were on before we went to break?
Seniors.
Can we revisit that as well, please?
Yep, you're at, beg your pardon, 20% for youth. Special needs. Special needs is now. $705,320.
That didn't work.
That's better.
You're at 13% now for special needs. Seniors, beg your pardon, thank you. Oh, special
No, that was
needs.
special needs.
Yeah, now we're going to seniors.
Okay. So let's throw the percentage up there just so we can watch it change as we go. Feeling special.
We're 1525 from that.
It's not going to change, though,
Uh,
because she's hard typing it.
Oh, she's hard typing, yeah. Oh, that's all right.
Well, I tried doing the formula and it said no.
Because it's circular reference. 705,320.
230.
320.
We were the same amount for so many years, that figure I
What
is
is it
stuck in
doing?
my head.
What you need to do is
Oh, I
change
need
the
to do
request.
some. I need
Change
to
the
do
request.
some.
Hard code the 161. Hard code that, Sean. Hard code the 161. Nope, just hard code the 161 directly above it. Where it says request, total request. Oh, no, we can't hard code that.
Yeah, you
All right,
won't.
we'll do the percentage when we're done. It's fine.
It's just not very nice. $720.
005, 705, 320.
23%.
Okay,
Wow, right there.
members, knock it out.
25.
Member McCoy, I would like to suggest that we, for 3 square, I can't see, that's 54.
Yes, yeah, sorry.
They're fully funded.
I know. I would like to take them down to about half.
It's
Does
27.
it help with your priority list here and here?
Okay.
To show you what their priorities were.
This is getting
What does that
confusing.
mean? What this means is most of the agencies, their first priority was direct client services, and their next was either direct program delivery costs or operating.
Okay, let's take them down to about 45. Jewish Federation.
Defender Pappas, if it's helpful, their percentage is 79%, so 79% of their first priority is 52,500.
Which is where we're at.
That's where you are.
Okay.
Is that where we're at? Okay. Defender Pappas, I'd like to take Helping Hands of Davis Valley, taking 15,000.
Member Jordan concur.
What percentage are we at now?
How can a percentage?
Because she has a hard.
Oh, that was just
hard.
Right.
20.
That gives us, that takes us to 53%, so that gives us 47% for homeless.
Now I have 332,022, so you're pretty close to your 50. If that helps.
Between 40 and 50.
Up to 352,660.
Percentage-wise, I'm sorry.
50%. Up to.
And we're at 47?
Yeah, we're at 47.
Okay.
So you're at,
So are we ready to start cleaning homeless?
if you wanted to do the max, you'd have to fund 20,000 if you want.
Let's see what we can do with that 332. Okay, so Defender Pappas. And this is again, we're just throwing numbers at them. Oh, discussion on the applications before we get started throwing numbers out there. I wanted to talk about St. Jude's Ranch because of all of the press that's been going on about them, and a lot of it for me is the fact that they don't have board members that are here in Las Vegas. It's hard for me to feel like they've got their finger on our pulse if they're not here. I'd like to suggest that we zero fund St. Jude's
Member
this year.
McCoy, I concur.
I would concur.
Member Jordan strongly concur.
So, Member Janison, friendly fire.
I mean,
Excellent.
Okay, hold on. So he's got, Jennison's got friendly fire for
That's
us.
all right, that's all right. I was waiting for Tom.
Okay.
Because I don't disagree with what you all are saying, but what I want us to keep in mind is that they did have 4 board members here that through this process have just recently resigned. So, and that's here nor there, but I just want to make sure that you all understand that they have had local board members and they're going to bring them back. My concern with this is that the work that they've asked, the money that they've asked for the work is for the homeless shelter for those, or the transitional housing for those homeless youth on that age. So it's actually not St. Jude's Ranch out there. It's actually that, I can't remember the name of the crossings for those youth staying there. So I just, on a personal note, know that the work that's done at that organization, at the crossings, they do incredible work for those young people that we're trying to keep off the street. So I just don't want us to forget about that and penalize the young people because of the adults the sins of the adults that are running the organization. So I just want to throw that out there and just caution us as we're having this discussion.
Thank you, Member Janison.
I'm sorry, during Shumple's staff, just so, did you guys agree to the $50,000 max for homeless?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
It's just, it's out there for discussion.
Okay. I'll leave it be.
Member McGrath.
Member Janison, very valid, concise points, but we're not in agreement. And, you know, when you've got a defection of the local board that's resigned,
There's something wrong.
I have no doubt that they're going to get their house in order. And with the resignation of Christine, I think that's not necessarily good, but I have no doubt they'll be back in front of us next year asking for funding. But at this time, I would agree to zero fund them, and we'll see how everything looks next year at the application submission.
Member McCoy, I concur. I also think that there is another organization that I recall that did have services for the youth, because that is really ultimately what's important. But just as important is that we have some local visibility, and when there's a lot going on at the top, you're not that effective at the bottom, in my opinion.
So Member Jamison, I would like to zero fund Hunt Ridge Teen Clinic at the $15,000 request for, because it was for dental. And so I just believe that there's the needs and the priority for the homeless, because there are other dental services out there. So I'd like to have that just for discussion to start.
Matt?
Member Miller.
To piggyback on an expression Member Janison, just to start the discussion, in addition to what we zero funded, how about we just throw up what their first priority is and see what money that we have left in our tally form, and just to start it off with the 2-0 funding.
Madam Chair, just to put on the record, I wanted to fund Hunt Ridge Teen. I believe what they do in the community is very important, not only from a dental hygiene standpoint, but the fact that there are homeless teens in Las Vegas Valley that rely heavily on these services. It's compared to some of the other requests, $15,000 is not much from a dollar standpoint, but I think that $15,000, the effect that it has in the community is pretty strong.
And Member Taylor, just for clarification, the money they've asked for wasn't for teens, it was for their adult services for dental, but just for clarification.
I believe during the presentation, they said that they help all different ages.
But not
if I
that.
remember.
Not for this.
Member Aslan, that money doesn't,
Right.
it's specifically for
Yeah, I
the
understand
adults.
Member Jordan, another challenging discussion we had again is you're applying for homeless, you're applying for certain criteria, and you're doing something else. I mean, come on, folks, we need to, you know, if it's homeless and we're working on dental, then it's, you know, what are our priorities? We're here to make that determination, I agree, but let's stay focused. Personally.
Member Aslan, well, I think we can't forget that it's a full circle. Employment leads to housing, independent housing, and some of these folks, $15,000 to help people get their teeth fixed, then they are employable. I can guarantee you that somebody with no teeth is pretty much not employable. So, I mean, just it's a full circle thing. It's not just.
Okay, Demeter Pappas, if we, just for conversation take Help of Southern Nevada down to 50,000, take United States Veterans down to 50,000, and where are we right there?
30 up.
We still have 30 to
10,000.
give?
10,000.
You have 9,709
That we have to give or that we're over?
today.
To give.
Should be, yes.
Yeah.
Because you've now allocated
695.
$695,611. So you have $9,709.
Member Aslan, based on scoring, I would, and looking at the priority of Help of Southern Nevada, I would actually throw that into that pot and make it 59 and whatever the change is.
Commissioner Pappas, while we all look at this, I just want to, not less for us, but more for people who might be looking at this later, who might be looking at the minutes, who might be listening to this later. Nobody at this table takes this lightly. We all know that we're literally dealing with lives. We're dealing with organizations that give everything and more to our community, and this is not easy for us. This is hard. This is really challenging. We wish there was more to give. And none of us make these recommendations lightly. We take our responsibility very seriously. Just wanted to put that out there on the record. Members, discussion.
In regards to, remember Jordan, in regards to Hunt Ridge, teen, dental, and so forth, did we fund Future Smiles and Youth, which is targeting for?
Sean Bolster staff. Future Smiles works out of Clark High School,
Right.
so it's a different demographic. Hunt Ridge works in the downtown area-ish. So they've got different, and then Future Smiles is youth, and the Hunt Ridge, while they do see youth in the center, they're focusing on homeless dental, which they don't have a lot that take Medicaid. Dentists.
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, they did say too in their application that the, this is from Member Jordan, that the, that 15,000, they said it would impact 175 people. So I thought that was important too.
Board members, discussion. Staff, am I correct in reading this and looking at the, as though we have allocated our funds for all four of these categories for CDBG?
It does appear so. Would you guys like to take a quick look through to see if you want to scooch anything?
For those of you that like to spend money, we just spent $705,000.
Member McGrath, I've got a question of staff here, and I'm not going off on a tangent, and when I'm looking at Nevada Health Centers, and thank you very much, Sean, for preparing the list of the 5 highly compensated individuals per nonprofit. That is extremely helpful, and it opens up our eyes on a lot of things. But if I'm reading the Form 990 for the Nevada Health Centers, I'm seeing 4 or 5 physicians that make in excess of $264,000, that make over $264,000. However, in the most recent exhibit, that doesn't appear to be the case on here. And it's just if you could get clarification from us, not today, but maybe at some future meeting. I'd like to know that. And are these physicians partners in Nevada Health Centers? I don't know, but I'd like clarification on that. If we could, at some future point in time, but I don't want to go on the record. Maybe I'm not reading it correctly, but
Some Bolster staff. For Nevada Health Centers, as I was going through and reading the emails that the agencies provided, those were dentists that they were paying, those high salaries. I don't believe that they are
Hygienists?
their staff. And let's look and see under it says they're going to help 19 individuals, $1,000 apiece, with direct client services in the form of oral health medication, medical-related services to alleviate infection and pain and extractions. An additional $1,000 is to cover patient transportation. So we're going to do bus passes for those clients that can't get to where they're at.
Madam Chair, Member McGrath, you're speaking of the information they sent to the city that we requested on their top 5 salaries, regardless of whether they're doctors or their staff, correct?
It's actually on their, I'm sorry, it's actually on their 990.
Right. This
Right.
application, they're not asking to pay for any of those staff costs. They're
But-
asking.
understood.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
Understood. I understand that, but I'm throwing it out there, and I think we probably spent enough time on this. So it's just one of those things that I would like clarification on at some future point in time. I visited the one in rural Nevada and wasn't aware of any dentists out there. There were medical providers, so we can move on. Thank you.
Defender Pappas, if we could, staff, if we could go back and look at the spreadsheet, let's just look at the categories, each category one at a time, see if board members have any more discussion, and then we can potentially move on. Board members, any more discussion on homeless?
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, the only thing I wanted to bring up on this is two of the large agencies that we're not coming really close to what they requested. I just wanted to make that a point only because those agencies are very, very effective, and we know that just through history. I guess I would bring up maybe the top four in that category, just since they did score high in Salvation Army and Catholic Charities, just to single them out. But I think we all know those agencies do a lot of good in the community, and if there was any changing, my preference would be to suggest that those agencies that scored higher, at least in the top four, received more funding, and that maybe some that scored less we would take away. And I only say that because those organizations do so much, they're so big, and they're so impactful.
Go for it. Make your suggestions.
So I would suggest, based on scoring, that Nevada Health Centers, we zero fund them and give that to Catholic Charities, and that we zero fund Family Promise and give that to Salvation Army. That would be my recommendation.
That's 85. And that makes it 82. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. Salvation Army. No, not that one, Sean. Salvation Army, Sean. Two down. There you go.
Remember, Jordan concurs when the number gets put up.
You gotta remove it from
Family Promise.
And you have to add it back into Salvation Army.
15.
No,
I think it was higher than that.
32. It was 32.
Something.
Yeah,
If you
32.
scroll up to the top, we should see what the disparity is. Right?
32.
No.
There, that
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
You're still within the 705, shuffles your staff. However, you have to get to the 50% maximum for this category.
Well, we don't
You
have
still
to
have 20,000 you can,
take from other places, but we don't have
We can
to.
take from another agency, but we would have to take it from another agency.
well, not another agency here.
Another group,
yes.
another category, sorry, thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. We can leave it.
I like it like
Yeah, I
this.
like it the way it is.
What's our
Okay, so
percentage?
Let's go down and take a look at seniors. Board members, any discussion? Okay, let's move on and take a look at special needs. And finally, let's take a look at youth.
There's the Future Smiles right there.
Board members, any discussion? Member Jimenez.
Jimenez. Spread the word Nevada. I would take some from them and fully fund the Clark County Public Education. So it's not the full amount, but spread the word Nevada is good. They wanted books and little baggies to put the books in, and I think that the impact would be much better than the other.
So you want to take 5,000 from spread the word and give it to,
15 is our minimum.
15 is the minimum.
so we either zero fund or we give them 15?
Yeah, I would zero fund the other one.
No.
No.
Defender Pappas, I have Because we do have this scoring, I have a very, very hard time standing behind
Yeah.
zero funding our top scorer.
I know, but well, okay. But I'm just from personal, my job at the school is like a liaison for the parents.
Mhm.
And I've seen what it's like to work with the parents one-on-one, and books are great, they are. But it will just make a bigger impact, and I would like more programs like that, so I'd like to have them.
I'm sorry.
Member McCoy. So I want to just make sure for my own edification that I'm understanding you correctly.
Yeah.
That, because I appreciate the fact that you're there on the ground and we're not just reading on paper, because just like testing, on any given day, we can score high, but it does not mean that we have actually soaked in the information. So it's more important to me to understand the impact that it's really making to the families versus what they look like on paper. So based on your experience, you're saying that, yeah, the books are nice, but it's not really making the impact that the public television would make? Or,
No,
Well-
it's not it's the Clark County Public Education Foundation. They are teaching the parents how to teach their kids, and they're teaching the parents English, and that's something that there's a big need, for that.
Superintendent Pappas, perhaps consider, instead of taking it from the top scorer, perhaps look at zero funding some of the lower scores?
I understand why. Do I say my name every time? Jimenez.
Thank you.
I understand why I got a high score, because it is, it's nice that the kids get those books to take home and read. But I think the bigger impact is getting the parents involved.
Okay.
Just research I've even done, because I'm taking college classes now. And all the research shows that having the parents be involved and, teaching the parents how, because school is way different from it was when I was a kid, let alone, the parent that's coming from Mexico or, has been in school a longer amount of time ago. So the impact that they're doing is big. I'm trying to just do it in my little school, and I see, the difference that it makes to just get the parents more involved and teach them the academic language and teaching them how we're talking to the kids and
Absolutely.
what to do with the kids. So the books are, they're always available for them to borrow from the teachers, or, the books are nice to have, but just reading the book, okay, that's good over and over, but then you get tired of it, and that's just my, opinion. But I would.
and where I respect how we do the scoring, because sometimes we have to start from somewhere to get us a starting point. But we are all a part of this board because of the diversity that we bring and our positions in the community. And so I think it's imperative for us to come back and bring those experiences to share with one another, to say that this is impactful because of this reason. And just because this scored high and they can do a really great application, and we all know we can pay somebody to do that, for me, at the end of the day, I respect her stepping up and telling us, the impact that it really makes, because I would not have known that if you did not share that firsthand, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, I think Member Jimenez brings up, firsthand knowledge of this, which I think is a great point. However, I think that I don't disagree. I disagree with taking funding away from Spread the Word based on scoring, because we have been paying attention to that. I mean, as one note. If we're going to take money away from anybody, I would, again, go based on scoring and take it from the bottom scores to make sure Spread the Word gets funded, and make sure that the Clark County Public Education gets funded. But I would take it from those that scored lower, not the other way that we just did it.
So Member Janison, and I'm just throwing it out for discussion, because I really appreciate what you've said, and it really does resonate. And that was my struggle, if you remember, from the first couple meetings we had, about being careful just about going on scoring, because there is also that impact that happens. Only because of what you said, I would agree with you to do that, and the fact that I know that Spread the Word Nevada they're an incredible organization. They're doing great things. but they've also just received a very large grant outside from another private foundation, so I don't think it's going to impact them negatively if they don't get this one, because that's a difference in the book and the bag as opposed to the one-on-one with the families that the Public Education Foundation would provide. And I really didn't think about it until you said it that way, but I do believe from the money it would make a better impact, and I don't think that it would hurt spread the word if they didn't receive it just this time. Right.
So make your recommendation.
I would agree with hers to zero fund them and do add it to the Public Education Foundation.
Trumbull staff, you have 2 book programs. I marked them both for you. You have Southern Nevada Public Television as a book program and Spread the Word Nevada as a book program.
Member
Sorry, Member Human. The other one that you wrote books on, they do give books to the parents. They also give them other educational things, like they mentioned they give them like little things to help them clean their teeth and just whatever they taught them that lesson. So they go and they teach the parents and the preschoolers. So whatever goes along with the lessons. Yeah, sometimes they get books, but they get other stuff too.
Member Jordan, in regards to the television, that's Tom Exel, right? Is that the one?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
Vegas Videos? Okay. And for those that were here, we had the discussion, because Tom was waiting in the back for Spread the Word, so they can have other discussions. And the reason I have a concern in that is that Spread the Word was getting ready to do e-books and so forth. Okay, they have a committee trying to get that, and one of the talks, one of the challenges was that do we fund, they were into the books and development and so forth. My concern was not everybody have an e-book or have a computer access and so forth. I had a strong concern about that. And she had mentioned, Spread the Word had mentioned that they do work with, or they're getting ready to work with the television, i.e., is it Vegas PBS? Is that what I'm-
Yes.
Okay. Vegas PBS.
I brought up the
Okay.
Shopwalter staff real quick. The brief program description for both programs, and for them to the description of how the funds will be used. So you could
So-
quickly.
Okay, so in regards to that, so we're talking about we can zero somebody out, and it won't hurt them as much and so forth. Talking Vegas PBS folks, I don't think, not zeroing them out would affect them really at all. Whereas Spread the Word has to develop to me, okay, and my visits to them, and like Member Jimenez, I'm on the ground too, as a teacher and so forth. So it's, there's several ways to look at that, I guess. But the zero fund, I'm not looking at the score either. I'm looking at real roots. I just have, I wouldn't zero them out. If you're going to take away any money and zero out, I would zero the television because the impact would not hurt them at all.
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, and just for reference, if we funded them at 50%, which that was what we originally did with Spread the Word, I think at 20,000, their application stated that they would impact about 5,000 kids. So that would be the impact, and I thought that was important. But they were at 50% originally when we first did it, so I would think keeping that would be good.
Member McGrath, I've listened to the dialogue, and Member Jimenez brings up some very good points. I can't see zero funding them, and we're not totally relying on the scores, but it is an informal guide for us to use. However, based on what she has said, and Member Janison, I think you're going to have possibly different scores next year when we go to evaluate and look at everything. Because I know I may score a little bit differently on some of these nonprofits. So my input.
So does the board member have a recommendation for changes? Take money from here, put it there.
Member McCoy, I still support Member Jimenez is zero fund Spread the Word. They get the books still from the school, so it's not like they're not getting books at all. And I think that the money will be better spent, even though they did score high. Again, in all instances, it's just not everything. And in this one, I think it speaks volumes that it's just not, for me personally. And so I would recommend what you said, zero fund, spread the word, and give that money to, is it the foundation?
Clark County
Let's see,
Public
Clark
Education
County
Foundation.
Public, okay, that one, I'm backwards.
Madam Chairman Taylor, I would recommend that we bring Spread the Word back to the $20,000 funding and take $5,000 from Variety Early Learning to do that, so that Clark County Public Education and Spread the Word would get the
Unfortunately,
same
our minimum
money.
is 15,000, so we'll have to zero fund a variety.
Oh, we'd have to zero, yeah, you're right.
Member Aslan, can I make a suggestion that we zero fund Sunrise Children's Foundation since we did not fund them in the last 2 years?
They're funded. I'm sorry, Sean, those were staff. They're currently funded.
The hippie is funded? How come it says it's not on their 3-year funding history?
I don't
Oh, current budget. So that would be last year they were funded, but the 2 years prior, and that was 15,000 last year.
Correct.
So I just have a problem zero funding somebody at the very top. If you're gonna, and I don't want to zero fund the Early Learning Center. I don't want to penalize them because that's actual direct services.
Director Pappas, why don't we consider looking at one of the other programs, getting that 5% back for youth? Because we can fund up to 25% for youth. So we can take what the equivalent of 5% would be, bring it back down to youth, and spread that money around. So,
You're at, as of right now, you're at your 100. You have, when we first started, Sean Walter staff started moving back through, you were looking for more money for the homeless,
right.
but you can't do both, I think.
Well,
What are the other 2 programs? Can we take money from
as
one
long
of
as we
them?
stay within our priorities, we can.
Correct.
Because we're at 20% for one of the ones that's 15 to 25. We're at 20% for 2 of those. So if we take some from them, or if we take a little bit from homeless, which we're over the minimum percentage, then we can give that back to youth and take that back up to the maximum percentage, which would allow us to fund,
Spread the word.
which would allow us to fund, which allows us to continue to fund Spread the Word, but provide more money for the Clark County education.
7, no, it's not stuck here.
Oh, here, 705-320. I'm going to be dreaming about 320.
320.
No, I think you got 250 that time. 225.
Oh, my goodness.
705-320. There you go. Okay. So we are allowed to be between 40 and 50% for homeless, and we are currently at 47%. So we could theoretically tweak some of these to take a little bit back, that we could then bring youth up to the maximum percentage of 25%, which would give us more money that we could allocate to another agency.
Youth is at 20, special needs is down to 13, seniors is 23, homeless is 47. You're pretty darn close.
We're pretty darn close, but if we wanted to do it, if our goal is to continue to keep funding Variety Learning Center. If we don't want to zero fund the Variety Learning Center, but we want to give more money, and we don't want to zero fund Spread the Word, but we want to give more money to Clark County, then our only solution is going to be to find those percentages to steal some of those percentages from some of the other categories.
We left it at 20 for Clark County Public Education Foundation and 15 for the other agencies. That's where you left it.
Right.
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, point of clarification to Member Jimenez. What are we trying to get at? I think I've gotten lost here in this discussion. What's the goal here? That's what I'm asking.
The goal is my goal would be to fully fund the
Clark County.
Southern Nevada Public.
Clark County.
Clark County
Public
Public
Education
Foundation. I would like to fully fund them so that they can go out to more schools
Member Aslan, but nobody's fully funded except for those who ask for the minimum. So how can you justify fully funding one program that is your favorite and more than half funding everybody else? You kind of have to be fair.
You're right.
Member Janison, so all of those, Spread the Word, Anson, Public Education Foundation, Southern Nevada Public Television, they all have good funding sources as well. So this really is a nice compromise to, nobody's funded fully, everybody gets something because they're all doing good work. So it is a nice compromise.
Staff, and Sean Bolter, staff, one of the things that we are going to be doing next year for our bonus points, because we're going to be incorporating some of those bonus points from this year as mandatory for next year. And one of the things we will be doing next year is we're going to do a big bonus points based on ratio of funding. So for instance, we've not firmed it down yet, but agencies that have 70% or even up to 80% private funding, 20% government funding are going to get a much bigger score than somebody who's at 50% government funding, 50% private funding. So that'll help you guys for next year.
That's great.
So that's our next big step. We're trying to do things incrementally to get the agencies to not be so dependent on the government funds.
We don't want to put them all in a sticker shock.
And Member Aslan, I just have a comment. Just so that you know, last year they're getting a little bit more than they got last year. So it's getting better. So we didn't
Spreading into more schools. We started at one and now they're.
Yeah. So I mean, it is better than what we did last year, I believe.
456.
Remember, Jordan, in regards to what we can call a personal comment, is that especially for the new members with massive amount of education and contributing to this is exactly what we need, because it's just that not the opinions but the facts and what you're actually doing. This is what it's all about. So I've been in your shoes. Don't take offense to it. Keep jabbing at it, because that's how we get more intelligent and more well versed about it. What I do like about this board is that we can actually, and I've done it with Tom and a couple other board members, is that you can actually go out to these places and represent yourself and see exactly what you're doing, what they're doing rather. So, I am just kudos to all the board members, new and old, in regards to what we're doing. So.
Madam Chair, Member Taylor, I would recommend that we go back to the original decision we had made earlier, that we put Spread the Word at 20,000 and put the Clark County Public Education back to 15 like we did all the others. That was our original decision.
Do you want to split the difference?
Member Jordan, let's talk it up.
Well, we split the difference, 1750.
I'd concur with that.
I was good with how it was.
No.
And it was what?
15?
It was 20.
15.
Oh, 20, yeah.
We're going to be here all night, guys.
Okay, I agree.
I do.
I think we should split the difference, Member Taylor, like we did the last time, because based on scoring, I think Spread the Word deserves to be on the same level
We did
as
score
Clark
over
County.
10 points.
Yes.
Or almost 10 points higher than.
And that's the point that I'm making to the board, is that, they're impacting over 5,000 kids in the valley with getting, nearly half of what they requested. So I think in being fair to their scoring, we should at least give them the 17,000.
Okay, so 17.5, 17.5?
That's my recommendation.
Member Jordan, comment in regards to, we keep saying we're not going to, scoring, and we like to ignore some of it so we can make our points. However, the scoring is there for a reason. We have to consider that variable regardless. So just add on.
Thank you. Board members, do we have a motion to close discussion?
Someone?
Janet?
Member Janison, so
Motion.
moved.
Member McCoy, second.
All in favor of closing discussion on top left?
Aye.
CDBG, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. CDBG.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
All right.
All right, now
I
you go.
have a question, Member Miller. If there, while I'm doing these motions for the recommendations, if there's something that I cannot, I can't make the motion if that.
Give Jimenez the page and just make the motion. Ms. Jimenez, just make, she's got it written down, it's so easy. You're just gonna read it. You're just gonna read the statement and then.
Not yet, girl. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
One second, Member Miller. Member Jimenez, there's one that she can't vote on, she must abstain. So she can't make the motion to move it forward, so she's gonna ask you to do that for her. Thank you. Okay, go for it. Member Miller.
All righty.
Okay, let's start it off.
Here we go. Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund.
Sean,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Yeah,
Just hold on. There you go. I just, now you know what your amount is. So there's no confusion.
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Catholic Charities at $65,000 for CDBG homeless. Is that correct?
You just say the agency, right?
You just say the agent.
Okay, Catholic Charities for.
Sean Brooks, if you want to, you can say this section is for homeless.
Okay.
And then read them all down
Okay.
as you're going through.
There we go. All right. I'd like to make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund the, can I say the following agencies, Ms.?
Do one at a time.
All right, do it one at a time. Fund Catholic Charities for $65,000, in the amount of $65,000.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Member Janison abstain.
So, 9 to 1.
I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Help Us Southern Nevada in the amount of $59,709.
Member Asselin, second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Unanimous.
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund West Care Nevada Incorporated for $15,000.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Salvation Army in the amount of $77,813.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund United States Veterans Initiative in the amount of $50,000.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund the Shade Tree Incorporated in the amount of $49,500.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make the motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Hunt Ridge Teen in the amount of $15,000.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Nay.
9 in favor, 1 opposed?
Yes.
2 opposed.
2 opposed.
8 in favor.
Member Jordan.
Janison opposed.
And Georgia? No one said
One motion, make your notes.
Sorry. Okay, good.
Member Miller, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund St. Jude's Ranch for Children due to lack of funds.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
9 opposed?
Janison, nay.
1 opposed?
And only one opposed?
Yes.
I make
Thank
a,
you.
Member Miller, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund Nevada Health Centers Incorporated due to lack of funds.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund Family Promise of Las Vegas due to lack of funds.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Second is for seniors. Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund 3 Square in the amount of $45,000.
Member Asselin, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion, we recommend the City Council that they fund Jewish Federation of Las Vegas in the amount of $52,500.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion, we recommend the City Council that they fund Rebuilding Together Southern Nevada in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion, we recommend the City Council that they fund, do I have to say the full title or just say Alzheimer's? Because I know that that's a very long title, correct? That they fund Las Vegas Alzheimer's Family Care and Support Program in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion, we recommend the City Council that they fund Helping Hands of Vegas Valley Incorporated in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion, we suggest the City Council that they zero fund Lutheran Social Services due to lack of funds.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
I make a motion that we suggest to the City Council that they zero fund the Gay and Lesbian Community Center due to lack of funds.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous? This section is for?
This section is for special needs. Member Miller, I make the motion to recommend the City Council that they fund Women's Development Center in the amount of $32,000.
Member Aslan, second the motion.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion, we recommend the City Council that they fund FACT in the amount of $30,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
I make a motion that we recommend the City Council they fund the Blind Center of Nevada Incorporated in the amount of $28,798.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Wait, you good? Okay.
Can I interrupt really quick? Is that $30,950? That's not what they asked for, is it?
No, that's their total priorities.
Okay.
That was the two priorities I
Okay.
put together.
Just didn't know what what
Go
they
for
had
it,
asked
Member
for.
Menace.
Okay, Member Taylor makes a motion that we suggest to the City Council that they zero fund Foundation for Positively Kids due to the lack of funds.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? One abstain. Abstain, Member Miller. Now under youth.
These are under youth. Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend the City Council that they fund Spread the Word Nevada in the amount of $17,500.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend the City Council that they fund Adson Incorporated in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous, sorry. My apologies. That's okay.
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend the City Council that they fund Clark County Public Education Foundation in the amount of $17,500.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend the City Council that they fund Southern Nevada Public Television in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to the City Council that they fund Future Smiles in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend the City Council that they fund Big Brothers and Sisters of Southern Nevada in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion we recommend the City Council that they fund Boys Town, Nevada in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Sunrise Children's Foundation in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we recommend to City Council that they fund Variety Early Learning Center in the amount of $15,000.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund Clark County Law Foundation due to lack of funds.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund Project Real due to lack of funds.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous?
Member Miller, I make a motion that we suggest to City Council that they zero fund Nevada Community Associates due to a lack of funds.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor? Unanimous, sorry.
Okay. Member Miller, I make a motion that we send the slate as presented to City Council for decision at their council meeting.
Member Aslan, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Good job.
Thank you guys very much for your public comments.
All right, item number 7 on the agenda, citizens' participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the board. No subject may be acted upon by the board unless the subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time on anything any single speaker is allowed may be limited. You got 3 minutes? Thank you, sir. 2, I'm sorry.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
2 minutes.
Sorry.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. My name is Philip Holland with the Salvation Army. Just want to tell you all, on behalf of everyone, thank you for the committee, for you all coming together. This is just, I wish more people could see and hear of all the activity that takes place, that the dedication, the pride, the passion that each one of you brings to this table. As returning members, you bring that wisdom, you bring that experience and history. As brand new members, you bring just the opportunity to ask, additional questions, to provide that opportunity to look at things at a different perspective. This week, or actually over the course of 3 weeks, you've looked at 5 HOPWA, 6 ESG, and 34 CDBG. I bring that up because overall 45 applications. You have drilled down on those applications and just done a tremendous job for the city of Las Vegas, for the residents, the citizens of the city of Las Vegas. I applaud you for asking the questions. I applaud you for reviewing each one, and just for analyzing them, for doing all the work that you do. Thank you for your time, for being a part of this committee, for making a difference in the lives of everyone that you touch, because you each one will touch a life. You change the lives of the people in this city by being a part of it, by being a part of this review committee and making your recommendations. So on behalf of all of us at the Salvation Army, for your recommendations today, for your trust, for your ability to be here today, thank you. And thank you for the committee, for the community, because you change lives. And when you go home tonight and you go to sleep, take that deep breath and smile knowing that you made a difference. Each one of you made a huge difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, good job. Lots of work. Staff, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us.
You guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, meeting adjourned.
Sean, do we have to do anything from this point on?
Hold on, guys. Let's not.
As of right now, we are going to council on May 6th. And the mayor council, love it when you guys come. They'll actually give your kudos.
May 6th, what time? Good job.
Thank you so much. I've been doing this for how many years now? 17 years. And
Members.